Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. Disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor. My doctorate is in theology. I do not provide medical advice, but my interests include a variety of metaphysical subjects such as philosophy, Moorish science, Reiki healing, crystals, holistic health, astrology and numerology, as well as art, writing, and more. I'm the founder of House of Reawakening Minds, a published author, a former pastor and local TV talk show host, and a retired local housing director. Last but not least, I am the wife, a mother, a grandmother, and a great grandmother. And now that you know a little something about me, let's get on with the show. Now, the goal of this podcast is to bring you information, confirmation, and liberation. Information from myself and my informative guests about people, places, and things that you either didn't know or had never considered. Confirmation about things you may have encountered or thought, but were afraid to delve into or take seriously or share with others for fear of rejection. And liberation from having to conform to the status quo and groupthink. Office Hours with Dr. G is here to assist you in knowing thyself and the wonderful universe you are part of. My philosophy is, when you know thyself, you can heal yourself. Now, tonight's guest, Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey, is an Al-Moroccan descendant born on American land. He is an American Moorish scientist, namely Moorish American, that enjoys sharing concept correction techniques pertaining to civics and astrology, and at the forefront pertaining to this American Moorish scientist's mind is Prophet Noble Drew Ali and his divinely prepared literature that Brother Hassan trusts is paramount in assisting and uplifting fallen humanity, along with the literature presented by Brother Charles Mosley Bey, lectures by Brother C. Freeman L., literature and lectures by Brother Taj Tariq Bey, Brother Abdullah El Talib Mosley Bey, and many more adept metaphysicians present and prior, modern and ancient. Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey shares his experiences by providing introductory astrology for youth and elders on YouTube with Astrology Street with Brother Hassan on the Astrology Street, all rights reserved YouTube channel. Also, astronomy and astrology concepts on YouTube with Seven Heel Star on the Seven Heel Star, all rights reserved YouTube channel, and much more. And he also provides audio and video engineering solutions via MERS 37 Boxes Music Trust. And I'd like to give a special thanks and recognition to Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey for collaborating with me in the writing and performing and engineering of my theme song, Dr. G. It's catchy, isn't it? And I know that you all are going to find yourself, kind of humming or singing it to yourself after this, because that's the way we planned it. Now, please join me in welcoming Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey to Office Hours with Dr. G. Hey, Hassan, how you doing? I think you might be muted. There you are.
Peace of greetings, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here in Morocco at Northwest of Mexham. Namaste. How are you? How's everyone? Yay! How are you, Dr. G?
He's throwing a little Astrology Street on. Look, you're throwing some Astrology Street on us, right?
Absolutely. I definitely am. That's what that is.
To Office Hours. Yeah. Welcome to Office Hours. And you are a wealth of knowledge and information, and you are such a help to so many. And I appreciate the fact that you freely lend your gifting and ability. You've done it for a long time. And so now you're coming into a period where you can receive elocution. I think, did I say the right thing? Did I say the word right? For the things that you do. So we're happy to have you on here today. I think our time we've known each other in this incarnation almost 5 years, or close to
I remember the first radio broadcast you had me on high frequency radio on Blog Talk. I think that date, the flyer you had made was August 22nd, 2015. So definitely before then. Since before then, I yield the floor.
Yeah. So with about 5 years, and you have since expanded your knowledge and your skill set, particularly in the area that we're going to be talking about tonight with regard to astrology. And what I hope to accomplish and achieve tonight with you, being on the broadcast, is that you can help dispel some of the the negatives that have been put out there for a long time with regard to astrology, and how important, explain to us the importance of us really overstanding and understanding the workings of astrology. Even the fact that the book that a lot of people who denounce or decry astrology actually embrace is called the Sun Book, right? Which
Islam.
deals with Islam. So before we get into the technical stuff, tell us a little bit. I've read a little bit about you and what you do, and you probably know I cut a lot off because it was a lot there. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about who is Hasan Ghaziel Bey, and how you come to have your knowledge and interest with regard to astrology and some other things. And I don't know if they people really got what I was saying, but you wrote. I woke up with the words and the tune in my head and sang it to you. And within a day, we had our Dr. G theme song, which you not only engineered and produced, but you added your own voice to it along with mine, and some special programming. What would you call that? Those are called the hertz, or what is it? I mean, it's I know what that's called. What is that?
I put some plugins on our voice. I put some plugins on our voice, a little reverb, a little EQ, compression. Is that what you mean? Like the effects on the voice?
But I'm talking about the 444 and the hertz.
Yes. Okay. The frequency that I set the instruments to on purpose. Yes, I set the frequency to 444, where I made the fourth octave A, where some people would say A4. I made A4 444. So sometimes people can go and change their master tune settings in their what is it called? Their virtual instruments in their DAW. For you engineers out there, just change your master tuning settings. And you can change the master tuning where instead of it being where A4 equals 440, you can change A4 to equal 444. So when you hit the C5 key, you'll get that 528.01 hertz. Or you can, tune it down to 432. And, that way you can, get that Schumann's resonance, as they call it, the Earth's heartbeat. So I yield the floor. Islam.
What is the significance of the frequencies that let's talk about a little bit about that. We're going to get into astrology, but so many people are beginning now to realize that music has been used as a programming a tool for programming, or almost, I don't know if I'm right, if I'm calling it almost hypnotizing people, or subliminally affecting the way people think, act, purchase, what they go and purchase, and so forth. So what was the importance of you using, or significance of you using, a 444 hertz on Dr. G on the theme song, and what effect might something like that achieve to a listener?
Well, according to my experiments thus far, what I've been able to accomplish is, I remember I was watching a video on YouTube of a few years back, maybe about 2016, early 2016. And I think Brother Abdullah Talib Bey was going over the different frequencies, the ancient music scales, and activating the pineal gland. And, I have a studio. So I was like, at the watching videos of Brother Tariq Bey and him saying, believe nothing I say, but try to prove it wrong. And then when you prove it right, teach your family. And I was like, I can, stick with that. So anytime anything was presented musically, I would just go to my keyboard and try it, So the first experience I had, I was like, okay, I was reading up on 432, and I was like, let me make a CD, and that's the Pineal Activations 1437 that I'll circulate or and give away now. However, when it came to your song, I was realizing, I was like, you know what, when people do that that's kind of that's the 530, that's the 528 C. So that ohm frequency is what's been utilized in your theme song, so that when people hear it, because they're bombarded every day with capping themselves, not being able to ascend psychologically, because that 440 is what's happening is, in general, when sound hits the body, which has been documented according to my studies thus far being 75% water, the water molecules in the body begin to take form. So now you got these individual constituent forms now creating an aggregate form that gives a reaction outwardly that's called behavior. So since I analyzed that, I was like, and then experimenting with myself and, going to ground, sun gaze, and listening to the music that I made while I did it, I started realizing like it was easy to change my diet, but I was making, decisions consciously. I wasn't relying on outward things. I relied more on my decision to be disciplined in practicing listening to this music, and practicing grounding and earthing, and practicing sun gate. Alrighty. So when it came time to do the Dr. G theme song, what I've done enough experimenting at this time, respectfully saying, real experience and experimenting, that I've come to the conclusion that when you hummed it to me, when you hummed the tune to me and told me how it go, I was like, all right, so this is something that people would want to be able to, when they hear it, they're not tired afterwards. Because when you listen to 440 a lot, which is the frequency that a lot of your radio stations, when you're traveling in your land conveyance, like you're being bombarded with that frequency. So a lot of times your fatigue isn't even coming from your physical activity as much as it's coming from the different frequencies you're absorbing throughout the day. So when you can get a chance on a Tuesday night for 2 hours, and within the first like 2 minutes or so, and the last 2 minutes or so, you can just get like a spiritual massage real quick, like, but through your ears. And if you got like some big speakers on or whatever, you can just let that frequency hit you, and then it's going to stick in your mind, because it's not threatening, it's not abrasive, and it's calming. When you're singing, Doc G, you smiling actually. Why? Because the music was tuned that way, so you can smile when you sing it. You're not frowning. A lot of the music tuned at 440 is very apparently violent, but it's all entertainment really at the end of the day. So that's why some people will go watch horror flicks or action films or tear-jerking cathartic love stories, or teenage comedies. It all depends on what people would like to absorb. However, the answer to your question, and I'm going to yield the floor here, when you gifted your idea to me to be able to just build my creativity upon that model which you delivered, I was like, let's see how it feels to this. And then it was certain instruments that I kind of wanted to play off beat, because I knew that part would make people kind of move their body sideways, because you got one beat and frequency making you want to bob your head forward, So then if you're moving your body sideways while you're moving forward, now you're going in a circle. People don't even recognize that that's what music is making their body doing. You're doing geometry with your body the whole time. Don't even know you're making circles, triangles, all types of stuff. Because the way your spine made. So you're gyrating. So I yield the floor. It's fine.
Well, you know, one thing you said, you talked about it's all entertainment, but what came to mind that a lot of music is just entertainment, but it's entrainment. Especially if you're listening to it over and over again, it has the same effect as neurolinguistic programming and brain entrainment. That particularly, you know, like you said, some music makes you calm and docile, or you know, happy and upbeat, while other things might bring out violent tendencies. And I believe firmly that depending on what response the so-called powers that be that create these certain frequencies in the music, whatever they want to elicit from it, they put it under. Just like, you know, they used to talk about backmasking and all the stuff that was going on, you know, I know years and years ago, and they would say, oh, if you play, because, you know, I was a DJ in the turntable days with the really ones and twos when they weren't those electronic ones, right? So, you know, if you were, you know, you could spin them backwards and get something else out of it and so forth. But they would say, you know, there was a subliminal message that was, you know, underneath it all. And even though you didn't necessarily, you know, hear it, maybe your subconscious, your conscious mind may not have picked it up, but your subconscious would pick it up, and then people would have certain responses. So, you know, but yes, I just wanted to talk about that because I love the song. And Brother Antonio Bey, who was my guest last week, called to check on me, he and Sister Mia. And one of the things he said he had been humming the tune Dr. G and thinking about me for about 3 days because that tune was it was up in his head, and but it wasn't a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like elevator music. You know, when you get in the elevator and next thing you know, you're singing raindrops keep falling on my head because that's what you heard in the elevator. You know what I mean? So Dr. G, we hope hope that Dr.
May I add 2 things to your wisdom there? Because you just sparked a thought real quick from my memory bank. One, with elevator music, if people had really paid attention maybe last year, almost a year ago, maybe 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, had made a comment about Jay's album 444. And if I'm quoting correctly, maybe I'll paraphrase. 50 Cent said, man, that new Jay-Z album ain't nothing but elevator music. When I heard that, I said, it must be tuned at 444. So I just tried it just to see what it feel like, right? Just to see how it felt when I played different frequencies and compared it. Now, if people actually wanted to know what it feels like, right? You can actually, and I mean, I got to go and really test that more, but this is what I can prove because I made it myself from scratch, so I can trace it back to the first track that I even, played. If you listen to the Astrology Street theme song and you listen to the Dr. G theme song, all the instruments are at the same frequency at 444. So when you listen to both of them, they're going to both make you feel the same way, even though they're composed differently.
They make you feel happy, right? Happy feelings.
Period. And it makes you open to want to learn. So the babies are getting that frequency. Their mommy and daddy are getting their frequency. Now we're healing. Now we're no longer, disassociating ourselves, not knowing who we really are. It's going to be listen by listen healing, but it is what it is. We got to do everything that we can do to help ourselves here on this planet. So I yield the floor, Mother. Islam.
Well, okay, well, thank you. But astrology, so a lot of people have particular people who call themselves religious over spirituality, but then of course today that's not even good because a lot of people who call themselves who are what we would see as religious really are dogmatic. Say I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. but yet they do have negative feelings with regard to the use of the outward. I'm going to say outward because I think even the people who claim there's something wrong with astrology, they probably, if they still, I don't think there are really too many newspapers these days being read, physical newspapers. But you remember back on the funny page, also there was always the horoscope in on the back of the funny page, and so people would want to go back and see what was up with Pisces or Gemini or Virgo or whoever, Sag. How did that, the astrology, which is a science, am I correct?
According to my studies thus far, I would definitely call it a science because science etymologically, going back to the Latin, sciere, to know.
To know. Okay. So how did astrology get from the science that was used to, and cosmology used to, I'm going to say in large part, craft out or become the foundation for the Bible, the Helios Biblos, the holy book, sun book, whatever you want to call it. How did it get from that level of science that predicted out, 2006, maybe 6,000 years backwards and couple thousand forward or 4 backwards, even though those numbers are up for debate because, we know that people have been, we've been here more than 86,000 years, but nevertheless, how did that go from the science that created the book that many revere to being reduced to something called a horoscope in the back on the funny page of newspapers?
It got reduced by a narrative being massively projected to the minds in the world or to a certain demographic that aren't privy to, a certain frequency of mindset in the world. So I'll answer the question like this also, but the answer is it's our perspectives. That's why. Now, granted, I'm not going to neglect recorded wars. When we check times past, there have been many wars. However, the reason that according to my studies thus far, so everyone listening can believe nothing I say. They can try to prove it wrong by going and study what I say or go and research it. When they prove it to themselves, teach your family. All right. This is what I discovered. When I think about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and all honest to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and it makes me realize more what the universal prophet is. Time never was when man was not. Time never was when man was not. Oh, okay. So it just seems like someone was trying to control the timeline, right? So when you see in wars, there's a commonality of someone trying to control the timeline. So usually the intelligent people, the astronomers, they were kind of saved. Women were raped, villages were pillaged, all this stuff. Children were made slaves, men were killed. All to be able to control the timeline, because with astrology, you can control the culture. You can control food, clothing, and shelter. You can, even know how, people will react to certain things, provided you use the information unlawfully. However, by me making the decision to not have a militant, demonizing mindset when analyzing literature written, namely called history, I was able to allow myself to be able to enjoy the benefits in drinking from a fountain of knowledge that showed me that the only thing that was wrong was my perspective. And this is why I'm going to say this. Yes, history is history. However, what am I doing now? So what I did, I look back in history, I look back in time, even with natal charts, and I said, you know what? Let me look at the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary when Prophet Drali mentions Byzantine, 1453. And
Mhm.
certain things are said, and you like, hold on, that's astrology. I see exactly what he's saying in this natal chart. Hold up, right? After I did some research. And then, when you look at metaphysical Bible dictionary and you get an astrology you get an encyclopedia of astrology, and your encyclopedia of astrology's first entry in the section letter A, and your first entry in the metaphysical Bible dictionary in that section A, and you see Aaron and Aaron's rod somewhere comparatively starting off both books, my mind, again, because this is according to my experience and my research thus far, I say, why is Aaron's rod and Aaron and Moses and them opening the books pertaining to astrology and the metaphysical Bible? So then I go and get my Strong's Concordance and my Holman's Bible Dictionary. I have physical copies at my first office of these things. I've had them since I was 20. And I'm just like, Now I'm sitting there with 5 different books. And I'm like, let me go get my Quran, right? Too, like my Maulana Muhammad Ali, Quran. And I'm like, oh my, hold on, Brother Taj is right. So that made me be able to go back and go look at C. Freeman L. Made me be able to go back and look at Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Prophet Noble Drew Ali's literature, Sam Bay's literature. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I get it now. I see why people that have this unvelation. I'm not saying revelation because I'm not reveiling anything. I'm unveiling. Okay. So in the unvelation, I was like, oh, so when people have and experience these unvelations, I said, no wonder they start calling them crazy, or in history, they would find 2 pieces of wood, 3 nails, and a crown of thorns, as people would say. But we all know that could be metaphysically explained also when looking at those texts. But I'm saying those things because what's actually being said is not something that physically happens. It's just that now we have to find a way to contribute to uplift and fallen humanity without being a tyrant or a despot. So my answer would be that there's some people that may have taken advantage of knowing that there was a mass ignorance keeping put on a demographic of people on the planet. And now it's time that, the planets have, transited to a certain, place in, our universe, so to speak, in the cosmos. And it's like, that time's over. So it's time for us to start healing. So I yield the floor, Islam.
Thank you. But listen, I'm looking in the Clock of Destiny, CM Bay. It gives the difference, and I'm, if I may, and many viewing this are probably already aware of this, but just for the sake of what
Which one you looking at?
I'm probably looking at one. I'm actually on my phone looking at it, but I've got on my script, and it says the difference between astrology and astronomy is that astrology treats of human characteristics, talent, action and reaction, sociology, economics, and global geography or space and time. Astronomy is the priest, pope, bishop, rabbi, preacher, duke, duchess, kings, queens, kings, and Anglo-Saxon lords code of the Christian world, of whom propagates the myth culture of heaven in the sky and hell below after death. And it says the Christian astronomers are the stargazers who go to quote unquote heaven by way of an expensive telescope and promulgate that which we imagine live on the planets: Mars, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Moon, and Venus. Such philosophy definitely cannot help solve our economic and social problems. The real moon and sun are under our feet, namely Earth. The powers of the moon and sun dwell in woman. Now you can draw your own conclusion as to why astrology and astronomy conflict. Astrology erases all beliefs and opinions of superstition, confusion, religious mystery, false fear, and idol or image worship, as astrology has always involved this universal simple fact, namely women and grown sons. in the course of 1 second can observe the moon, sun, stars, earth, and themselves without employing a telescope. Therefore, woman and grown sons comprise the supreme manifestation of the whole creation, space, time, which need no doctrine of religious mystery, fear, superstition to influence them to employ that which is right, because the science of astrology, woman, suns, earth, water, air, heat, and food constitute the great force of creation, often referred to in science as electromagnetic current and voltage or atomic energy. I yield. What say
Islam.
Islam?
Yes. So now let's look at it like this now. Hassan, you just mentioned the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, and you looked in the Bible here, and you looked at here, and you looked in the Holman's Bible Dictionary and the Strong's Concordance, because I was like, let me go and analyze all these things I was reading. And if we rewind, whoa, Brother Taj is right. You go and check Prophet Noble Drew Ali's literature, C.M. Bay's literature, it's like, oh, it's right. However, how do you take what was used for bad, because your question was, how is it that we came to this point where this, and that, and I was like, there were wars, right? And with those wars, right? Pardon me. And with those wars, you know, there was a dwindling of ignorance. One thing I've always paid attention to that was presented, you can't really get back up anywhere else but other than from where you fell. So with that being said, when I present astrology, like in the Astrology 101 workshop, when I present the astrology, my first thing is to let's strip ourselves of the mystery. However, I know that we have to lead ourselves back slowly from understanding what has already been presented publicly, and then being able to slowly but surely bring us back into what it actually is. And it really boils down to know yourself. You see what I'm saying? However, now one would, you know, look to be able to have charts, so to speak, namely based on exactly what's right here on the planet. Everything is here under our feet. That's one of the reasons why, for me, in order for me to even try to reconcile that, because some people are like, oh, see him Bay so deep, him so heavy, right? When I think about the moon under our feet, I think about, this is why I teach, well, I share, let me say that, keywords. So when I hear sun and moon under our feet, sun is gold. Moon controls water.
Silver, right?
You say that again?
And then moon is the silver, you know, I'm into my silver, but it's water, but silver, yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to take it to extremes, you know, something hard, something liquid, you know, something solid, something liquid, you know, because when you contemplate and reconcile the thought that way, that statement is true. When you start to actually realize that there are certain, when you check like Nicholas Culpeper's English Family Physician in Large, and you start reading, maybe if you don't want to go that deep or technical, the Farmer's Almanac. And with the Farmer's Almanac, what you are able to do, you're able to see how currently now farmers are using what's published in these books, planting anything that bears its fruit above ground. They'll plant that seed between the new moon and the full moon. If anything bears fruit below the ground, they're planting the seed from the full moon to the new moon. And that's according to my studies thus far. So I will say everything that CMB has said, I've done my best to reconcile them with look around and all these great things that, you know, because that's how I reconcile it. As above, so below. Okay, so since that's the case, that's our second hermetic principle out of the 7th. How do I reconcile that within myself as I travel east? East metaphysically is within. So that's how I go about doing those things. However, I have recognized over the years that sometimes you must listen to people where they are when they're asking questions, and then be able to answer them in a way that, hopefully, that you can plant a seed and they'll grow in the information, because you may present building blocks to start getting them used to the language pertaining to a certain culture, in this sense, astrology, right? However, like building blocks, once they get older, you can't expect them to communicate with building blocks. They're going to have to learn how to actually start using scribing instruments, pen, pencil, paper. Maybe they'll evolve to typewriter, computer, tablet now, So that's how I look at it in the presentation. And with that being said, I yield the floor. That's an excellent read, Mother Naila, Islam.
Well, yeah, we were talking about this earlier, but while you were speaking, I looked on my shelf, and I happen to have. Let me see if I can get that. Is that close enough? Can folks see 10? I don't know which way. So it's ephemeris, right? And it's
ephemeris.
And it's from 1950 to 1959, which is sort of like right smack in the middle. I came in 1955. So I must have purchased this so that my stuff is in here at birth. I guess I opened it up to March, of that. I don't understand, understand any of this, except,
okay, so look at it like this. What if CM Bey said, and what you read, that there's a telescope being employed, right?
Right.
And what he said, right? So if we look at an ephemeris, right, the astrologers, according to my studies thus far, astrologers then were casting natal charts with their compass, square, a table of houses, and an ephemeris. And with that, they will be able to, if people had inaccurate time, which was so far, according to my studies, very rare to have inaccurate time. But for when they did, they would have been able to cast the ascendant as well. However, if you're looking at an ephemeris and there are ephemeris being kept time after time after time, and you're trying to go back, like, man, how did they know this? And there's already there's obviously a mathematical equation already set in order.
Absolutely.
All you have to know and learn is, what is that sequence and what are the formulae?
Okay.
So now instead of employing a telescope, right, and giving mythology, however, I can utilize what may appear in that as something that was used negative, the war against the minds and the people. We can use that and actually have a lotus grow out of that mud, or we can turn, straw into gold, so to speak. We can turn water into wine when we know exactly how to reconcile and actually, see what's being said. So with that being said, with the ephemeris, without having to employ a telescope, when one actually knows the math pertaining to how fast something moves, or what's being recorded pertaining to retrograde motion and things of that nature, what we're also saying is we're actually just going off of, okay, well, since we know this record, then this and that happened, so we should be able to predict that this is going to happen at this time based off of this mathematic formula or this equation, So that's how I see it now at this time. However, when utilizing things like, a telescope, because I'm not the one that, when something said not to be done, so to speak, that doesn't make me go and investigate why, because there may still be a gem in that also. So sometimes I'll use and look at telescopes to see what I see, or telescopic software to see if what's actually on the software is that actually an actual what's there, or am I just looking at projections? And then it's like, okay, let's say if it's all just illusion, which in my head, I know it's just all illusion, it's all Maya. However, how can we utilize that to make a better situation on the planet? Because if it's all a program, we don't have to keep, perpetuating a virus. Then how do we keep our software and hardware here in good health? And with that, I yield the floor. Islam.
Well, with astrology, what comes to mind, back in the I'm terrible with time, but when Reagan was president, whenever that was, the it was a big controversy because
Was that the late 80s?
it
Was that
may have
88,
been
89-ish?
it may have been whatever he was in.
Oh.
His wife Nancy, it was made public that his wife, I think after there was an attempt on his life, and particularly after, and I don't know whether it was before that, but particularly after, she always consulted an astrologer about everything with regard to whatever he did. Whatever, he wouldn't travel or take any types of speaking engagements or anything of the sort unless this astrologer, who they were saying was pretty much kind of running she was running the White House, because he was taking the advice of an astrologer as to how to make, Sister Rose Reed said yes, 88, was taking the astrological advice as to what to do and what not to do, when and how to make different major strategic decisions with regard to his, governing, so to speak, of the U.S. corporation. So, and that became a laughing stock. You know what I mean? That became, a lot of people were laughing. But you and I had a conversation earlier today. You sent me some information because I asked you a question. I mean, we're talking about, I'm flipping around, but just comes up now, how powerful astrology is, and not just the dime store or funny paper page variety of a horoscope, because I didn't know until maybe within the last 9 years, I didn't know the importance of things such as your where your rising is and your moon and all of that, because I come to learn that where your sun might be in one sign, whatever your rising sign is, that is probably more how one presents themselves. So you might sometimes say, well, oh, I'm a Pisces. And they go, well, you don't act like a Pisces because, well, there's part of you as a Pisces because, you're always, flitting around to this, that, and the other, like you're going in two different directions. But you seem so strong and you seem so, because Pisces are pushovers, aren't they? But then you find you got a Sagittarius rising, right? So you're presenting as one thing, but people are focusing on the other. And then the fact that whatever aspects you were born under, to come to learn that those things change as you progress in life, because you got to read one's chart based on what the planetary alignments are at the time, or you're either doing what is it, a progressed chart. You're projecting ahead, which is what the astrologers of the that were involved with the writing of the Bible were doing, projecting ahead, and things change, right?
I mean, change is a very subjective term according to my where I'm at right now, as far as after a few things that I've studied, and even the term that you use, Pisces are kind of like pushovers, right? My thing is astrology, and I'm going to quote Brother Taj on this one from one of the lectures that he did at House of Reawakening Minds. I think it was early last year, and he said astrology is not compulsory, it's impulsory. So something that's compulsory means, you're supposed to do it. Something that's impulsory, you can have a choice. What do you think? I'm going to go with the flow with this, So compulsion is cathodic. Impulsion is more anodic. For those that want to look up the etymology for cathode.
Now when you said, say that again, you said compulsory is cathodic, compulsive, right? Compulsory.
Things that look like, because compulsiveness is like you're being forced to do something, even if it's against your will. where impulsivity is, you have a choice, you have free will, you have a free choice in the matter. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll be corrected. I'm open to it. Wise man changes his mind often, so I'll be corrected if I'm wrong. And I'm open for criticisms. However, that's how I see it thus far. I don't see it being compulsory, because there are tendencies, right? And if we do the as above, so below, and one would say, hey, if someone had, let's say, like, okay, you're a sun sign Pisces, right? So let's say they have the ego and personality, which is the sun, also the heart, also, the childlike fun, what you like to do, where you come out and shine. Pisces, when it comes, Pisces would be spirituality, institutions, theater, imagination, right? So one could say from those keywords some possible tendencies that could happen depending upon the mental constitution pertaining to that being that we're observing, with the sun appearing to be in tropic Pisces. Alrighty. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it like that. It's more of, for me, I rather look at it as tendency based, because when I check all the different systems of astrology, it usually, even when you check some of the old astrologers, even in Vedic astrology, or our ancient tropic astrology is known as, now they call it classical. It would have been called traditional. Now it's called, it's also termed as Hellenistic. Alrighty, so that's how I, according to my studies thus far. And what I see is that there's just these people that are just making considerations based on their observations of these mathematical sequences. I mean, even the base pertaining to the tropic zodiac is really based on Fibonacci sequence, and the sidereal zodiac, a lot of people, and even I said it too, to get people to just to think about it. The sidereal zodiac, according to my studies thus far, is really based on the Paisano periods. So it's all really based on mathematics, not even what we really think we're looking at in the sky.
Okay. Well, the point I was going to make when you mentioned about, I'm going back, when you talked about it being compulsory, being cathartic, it was interesting to me that anything compulsory is cathodic or cathodic, which actually made me think of cathar, which made me think of Catholic, which made me think of how, a lot of these things that, like, they even called, at some levels of education, compulsory education, things that you have to do. And so it seems to me that it has its root in this Catholic type of and I'm hard pressed to call it religion, although we call it a religion. It could be religion, because religion and something being good are two separate things. You can religiously, get up every day at 5 p.m. and steal your neighbor's paper. Is that a good thing? Or just a religious thing that you do? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, yes. To add to your wisdom, if one were to just quickly check etymonline.com, type in the word cathode, and when you read it, the distinguishing term in the etymology on Etymonline for cathode would be the term suppose, suppose. And when you're reading suppose, and you check that reference etymologically, suppose, compound term, sup meaning under, pose is your position or where you've been placed. So when even in etymology, when cathode being described as the path in which the current is supposed to travel. So now I replaced the word suppose with the path in which the current was put under to travel. When you check the inverse to cathode, according to my studies thus far, anode, anode. Now people be like, oh, well, if cathode is Catholic, how come we don't have an anode? Well, I think Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the manifestation, and all the other divine seers that have come, you know what I mean, our anodic energy, because the key phrase that I think distinguishes, for me, according to my studies thus far, when looking at etymonline.com, the term anode, the distinguishing a term would be a thought to travel, instead of them using, so when you look at those two different etymologies and read them, right, you'll see supposed is, it says the path in which the current is supposed to travel. I think if I'm quoting it properly, y'all can look it up. Don't believe nothing I say. And then when you look up anodic on Etymonline, ANODE, 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 it'll say the path in which the current is thought. So now when I'm thinking thought, I'm like, oh, thought. Most people would say a synonym for thought is contemplate or consider, which means with stars. So now I'm looking at it like, hold up. Now me in my head, I put pieces of the puzzle together that pieces of the puzzle together that most people would say, oh, you stretching. No, I'm not. Because I have Jupiter and Capricorn in the 6th house. So that gives me an ability to streamline, and I can fold space and time and concepts, and I'm not bragging. I recognize that energy. So sometimes when I'm reading things, I can, like, you know how Brother Taj had presented, sometimes when I read, I can not read the word, but I can go behind the word and go through the word. Like that. It's kind of like that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I see, just in, even when people like, dang, I didn't even expect the brother go that deep on Catholic. That all the sister was asking is that no, but the reason why I'm saying that, because I think it's important for us to begin to think for ourselves and go, let me see what this brother is really saying. Let me add him online, Catholic. Well, you know what? It do say the path in which the current is supposed. Let me see what's supposed. Placed under. Let me check the anodic. Okay. And now guess what? Guess what y'all just accomplished? Y'all accomplished killing the dogma. Because you didn't believe in me. You ain't believe in Dr. Naila. You just checked for yourself.
Yes. You
just experienced for yourself. That's like if me and Dr. Naila was talking about, me and Dr. Naila was both eating right now, right? And Dr. Naila was like, yeah, I got this apple pie. I'm like, yo, that's wild. Dr. Naila, I got an apple pie too. And we asked y'all in the chat, right? Don't this apple pie taste good? And somebody in the chat go, yup. Y'all better stop lying in the chat. Because you're not experiencing it. You're not tasting it. So stop saying it tastes good. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you go and check the stuff for yourself, now you're not parroting.
Right.
Now you're not, a nationalized more parroting. What you actually are is someone who proved it for yourself. You went and cut a slice for yourself and went, go, you know what? This apple pie ain't bad. It could add a little bit more cinnamon though. You know what I'm saying? I yield the floor, Islam.
No. I was looking at some of the comments, and of course, when you start to talk about the various signs and aspects of various things that describe that I know that a complete reading is when you know where someone was born and what time it was and the date and all of that stuff. But in general, most signs have generalities that you probably, because where you are with astrology, you can off the top of your head sometimes. And some people I know someone asked about Sagittarius, I guess, because I did mention Sagittarius, and they were asking about the I guess what were some of the characteristics of traits, in terms of traits. What are their strong points of a Sag, for instance? Because I'm pretty sure that everybody on here is a different sign. They probably want to know something.
Psychologically speaking, Sagittarius is very tropic. Sagittarius is very. I remember in the movie Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 Cent said, yeah, we party, but we make sure we work twice as hard as we party. That's a very Sagittarian statement for me, according to my studies. So Sagittarius can be the life of the party. However, Sagittarius is very serious about how it learns and the information that it is learning. Just generally the sign Sagittarius, not every being that is a sun sign Sagittarius like that. However, sun sign Sagittarius between maybe roughly now 0 degrees tropic Sagittarius to about, let's say roughly 27 degrees ish, 25 to 27 degrees is Sagittarius. And the Vedic would be a Scorpio. So even though their psychology is Sagittarian, their how they do things according to a Vedic astrologer, how things would turn out, their soul would be evolving through Scorpio. So a lot of times when people, you know, some astrologers think, you know, people would say, oh, well, the people that may have a short temper are Scorpios and Tauruses, and they think in tropic, but really it might be the, you know, the Scorpio in the Vedic, because that would be the Sagittarius. So sometimes the Sagittarius could really have that. If I recall, I did a couple of charts and, you know, a few studies. And I, you know, when people were doing like natal charts of certain, if you wanted to say the most negative or whatever, people that were, you know, taking lives unlawfully, they call them serial killers. A lot of them had some heavy Sagittarius energy as far as sun signs, or maybe, you know, heavy, you know, something heavy in Sagittarius when in tropic. And when you boom, take it back to the Vedic, it's like something so hard on Scorpio. And it's like, okay. And you start to like realize other tendencies that come up from those quote unquote alignments, and it may make the you know, people express themselves that way. However, by me being able to go to a Lynn Coiner lecture back in February 22nd, 2020, to a medical astrology lecture for the Baltimore Astrological Society, for the National Geocosmic National Council for Geocosmic Research, pardon me. And, you know, just kind of listening to Lynn Coiner and observing her work over the years, it was just like, she was mentioning how a lot of people with mental disabilities, if these people and their families had the astrologer looking at these tendencies at their charts from the jump, they could have provided these people with some things to be able to express that energy in other ways, instead of expressing the tendencies that became harmful. Mm-hmm. So, you know, a lot of times, I'm not a doom and gloom astrologer. However, I do have a heavy stellium in Scorpio. So when I do certain lectures, I will go and study serial killers. I will go and study these different things, because that's what they're presenting when I'm looking at how to use my astrology software. So it's like, oh, let me see what they're teaching on this video. And there's like, let's study John Wayne Gacy. And I'm like, oh, why? But then when you start seeing astrologers going through their chart and stuff like that, and you like, oh my goodness, all right, okay. And then when you see babies born and you do babies charts nowadays, and you see those same tendencies, and then you got to tell their people's like, hey, look, man, you need to make sure you love your baby a lot. Make sure you always compliment them. Do not, and I repeat, do not make them feel inferior. I'm laughing. However, I'm just I'm being serious. Because our Albion sons and daughters in their astrological societies, this is what they analyze with their astrology software that they have come together and cooperatively, you know, distribute across the planet. So Prophet Noble Ali said, I'm gonna leave the European here long enough to teach you government. I chose to learn it via astrology. I yield the floor, Islam.
Well, good point. About our children and getting and knowing what tendencies they may have. Even now, one thing that, you know, we've learned in recent years, or I learned it maybe years ago, just because of things that happened personally to my one of my children in particular. I had a very very stressful pregnancy, violent. There was a lot of violence in the pregnancy, in my life during that pregnancy. And as a result, I learned that in the womb, the trauma of, the fetus doesn't necessarily have to be physically, hit or whatever, but whatever you are going through, coupled with what sign they end up coming out, being born under anyway, can be traumatic. And if you don't, if you can't protect yourself and your unborn child from what's going on outside, that when they're born, you're going to have to do double duty to try to undo the harm that was done at a very, very vulnerable time in their lives. But I didn't understand a lot of things back then. But I realized, you think it's happening to you. But I always call when I talked about my my biological mother, when I wrote up about her on the holiday they call Mother's Day, I call her my starship, and I because I believe, yeah, and I refer to her as my starship, and I thanked her for not aborting the mission, because I was on a mission. My mother didn't know that I was she was pregnant with me until she was about 5 months along, and because she didn't stop her menstrual cycle, and I guess she must not have really gotten fat, but something happened that prompted my my grandfather to take her to the doctor. She was 18 or just about 18, and she was 18 when I was born, but they told her that she was pregnant, and she said, no, I'm not, I can't be, I'm still at my period. And the doctor said, well, we're just going to have to take that away, you're going to have to stop that, but you're definitely pregnant. And my mother told me how she tried to jump down the steps and sit on the turpentine bucket, steam, she tried to do, a lot of things.
Pardon me, I'm not judging with that. I'm
Well,
being, I'm
this was in
empathetic.
the
I
50s.
feel that.
She was a
That
single,
hurts,
she was a teenager. I mean, she shared with me, but my mother loved me immensely when because I didn't come out till till I was ready to come out. But it was a very short time for her to know that she was to nurture and accept the fact that she was going to have a child, because, I was coming within the 4 months of her finding out I was coming. But like I said, I see her and saw her as a starship that I had hitched a ride on, and that she could have aborted the mission, and how many things would not have occurred. They talk about the butterfly effect. So if my mother had been successful in ending or terminating the pregnancy, would there be a House of Reawakening Minds in 2020, or would I've had to, make another attempt to get here? You get it what I'm saying? But I had to come the way I came, with the aspects that I was born under, the astrological, aspects that I was born under, in order to complete or undertake, because I haven't completed, to undertake the mission that I'm on. So my mission, what is the thing? Mission Impossible. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, hers was to bring the cargo safely. And then my mission has been, I can see it as time unfolds, House of Reawakening Minds and connecting people, places, and things. And it's probably somewhere in my chart, that's what I'm supposed to do. So
yeah.
So, but the thing that I love about what you do is that you can do charts for people that cover so many aspects of their life that they really should probably, how some people say, well, I have a psychic that I go see, or I have somebody that's my count.
Yes.
You, in effect, in essence, rather, as an astrologer, with the various the areas of interest or study that you deal with. I mean, you've got the software, and then you gotta have, it's more than software, you gotta have knowledge, because you sent me some stuff that looked like a whole bunch. You sent me something that looked like a whole bunch of charts, and then it wasn't until you let me know, like, for instance, that one of the things that I asked you a question about, I don't know, about success in business or something like that. And you told me, okay, look at this map. I said, well, this is a map you sent me, but there was this big, heavy red line that was running down, straight down one section of America, of Mexum. And that,
bring it up now.
yeah, you can do that, because this is something that you can do for people. And you told me that where that heavy band was is actually where I would be most successful in business, or where I would be most, and I'm not really that far from it, which is it's not like I need to move to the other side of the country, but you also gave, like, for yourself, you suggested that even though success might be, one might think to have to pick up physically and move, one might focus one's marketing in a certain area or something that is more favorable or something. And you share. Okay, so that's us. You want to bring up your chart, because that's you. That's not showing the right screen. Let me see which screen you want to bring in. Let's see. Because I think this is important that people know what you do.
Whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Well, this what I see if I click this and add it, it looks like it's the screen. It's our screen. It's not the chart. Oh, there we go. There we go. Here we go. Oh, okay. There's my chart. Oh, well, there's you, and you're covering it. Let's see. All right.
All righty. Are we ready now?
Yeah, you want to pull this.
All righty. You guys can see this, right? All right. So when I had looked at your chart, we had looked at your business chart, right? However, I already kind of have it right here. So I'm just going to open it right here, right? So, but first it was the map, if I'm not mistaken. So let me make sure I have the map. Hold on. It's not that one. It's should be this one. Just waiting on my computer. All righty. And I'm going to double click that one and let the picture come up because I already sent it to you, even though I could have did it with the software, but it's just right here. So I'm just going to click on it and let it come up here. Let's see. Alrighty, so come on, computer. Come on. If not, I give it 3 seconds. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 Mississippis, right? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to minimize that, and I'll just actually go to maps, and let's do a hold on 2 seconds.
It's one of the things that you're looking as you're doing that. What I was thinking, what's interesting for anyone that's listening who is maybe thinking about going into business or has a business, and perhaps you're wondering whether or not you would be successful in a particular business or in a particular, sometimes it's not just what you do, but it's where you do it. That, from an astrological standpoint, that will tell you, as it be an indicator. It's not, you can't say that there aren't other variables that need to be taken into consideration, but from an astrological standpoint, as you explained it to me, that would be the best route to take or the best place to do business. And it's always available to you with a good astrologer who can not only, because you have areas such as, let me see, because we talked about this, various aspects that astrology can assist one in. And that includes like your, even where you, what you would eat, yeah, it's a lot. I know that there's compatibility.
I'm opening it one more time.
Right. Compatibility is sometimes people are getting into new relationships and they are not sure, if that person is the one, for them. Astrology can give you a lot of insight, and then you have to kind of, depending on how long you've been with a person, if it turns out that astrology tells you that you're not compatible, I'm sure that there are aspects that can be worked out if you're unwilling to make a change. Am I correct or not? Or when someone finds out aspectly that they're not compatible with a person, what should they do? Because that sometimes, it may be time in and investment, and this could be business or relationship wise.
Yes, it could, because what you want to do ultimately is just be like, like compatible, not just necessarily compatible, but extra uberly compatible. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So it's like when it comes, to it, it's best to know what's best. So for example, let's say you got hey, I really want to go here and work. Now, the best thing would be to do is, see what's on your 10th house cusp. Because that'll kind of give us a clue.
There's my chart, right? Is that my chart up there? And
Yes.
so what is all this stuff? Is this like a now chart, or is that a chart of when I
Now,
I came on the planet this time, when
yeah,
I arrived?
this is when you arrived, right?
Right.
However, according to my the classes that I'm kind of taking, and I trust this thing is going to move a little faster this time so we can get to this map. All right. What I've been learning as it was showed to me how to use this, they'll for the software recognized in the United States. And when you want to do somebody's chart, say they want to do a relocation chart, I'll click on a treasure map. And in the treasure map, I'll do their vocation and career. From what I've learned, I'll do the vocation and career. I'll do their friendship and family, love and romance, with air quotes around romance, and imagination. I'm sorry, and excitement and instability too, because that'll kind of let you know where things could probably get a little irritable. But for you, just to kind of introduce it to you, and so we can introduce it to everyone else, I chose vocation and career, and I said, okay, let's look at where on the map, based on your natal chart here, where it's just generally where you would just thrive at, what part of the map you would thrive at. Now, I could zoom out, but I don't want this thing to take all long trying to adjust itself, to zoom in, zoom out. We're already waiting on the map to generate right now. So, so it is generating. It's just that this software is pretty eminent. It's not a small software. And I kind of have it on a computer that's kind of just like, wow, why did you put this on me? But it's all good. So now, if you pay attention to the heavy red, the red resembles the midheaven, your medium coeli, or the 10th house cusp, because we're dealing with career. And the yellow is ascendant. Alrighty. So for you, you're kind of generally where you would thrive at, actually. Now, if I was to zoom in, we would go, see what is closer, what is actually on that red line, as far as near the North American, area, at least here where you are.
Because I'm like right around there, and then so I'd have to go west a bit, but not too much.
Yeah, you're about here-ish, so you would have to go, west. So anything that would be on this line right here, of course, that's why I remember when we was talking, and when I zoomed in a little, when I sent you, we saw Nassau was actually very close to this line. Nassau, Bahamas, was really close to this. And I said, have you ever tripped there? And you was like, yeah. And you told me why you went there, and overall you was like, but I had a ball. I had a great time. And I said, you see why? Now, if you were up here somewhere, if it was, places up here, I think this would be rather cold. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if you were to be here, it looks like you would really thrive here, because you got, nodal points here. Right there, right there, right there. So you got Sun conjunct the midheaven here. You got this Jupiter Saturn midpoint in opposition to the midheaven. You got your Jupiter trine your midheaven here. So as you're working with that energy there, then you got the Jupiter Uranus conjunct the midpoint for the ascendant right around there. So it's just like things that will really pertain to your career and how you do things would really thrive. Especially in this area, if it was actually
like in Canaan land, that looks like.
Yeah, it's definitely Canaan land. It's definitely Canaan land, because near the Toronto Corporation is right here, and it's well above that. Montreal's here near the Montreal Corporation, so it's definitely west of that. Alrighty, so yeah, so for you, if we were to check for you to just vocation and career, this is where you would do really well. Really well at. However, just briefly, let's just say, okay, hey, I don't feel like moving there. Okay, you don't have to move. Just advertise in these areas.
Wherever this,
and I'll yield the floor on that one.
Okay, all right. So, do you want to? Okay, let me just come off of that for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna exit out of it. Okay,
that's all right. You good? I got your back, Charles. Someone was asking, what's the name of the software? Where can we get it? I mean, is it just it's just something that you just get, or is it more for those who are professionally doing this?
Now, I'm gonna answer the question like this. I'm open source, so I'm gonna tell you what the software is, because the software developer that presents it on YouTube freely for over the last 7 or 8 years, he's very adamant and open about it, because he's one of the head developers for it, and he's one of the guys that I've been really just been like, okay, that's how I'm able to do a lot of stuff that's in the software off the top of my head, because I wanted to know the technical basis behind the astrology. And I've learned a lot from the Avalon School of Astrology, as it's called, by David Cochran and Faye Cochran. And
Is that who you get it? Because I mean, you could certainly type it in the comment area if you want to tell them. And I think you can do that.
And I'll give them a little history, how I came across David Cochran, and then I'll answer everybody's question. But I like to give a backstory real quick. So David Cochran, I was wondering, I was like, I'm studying astrology, and I'm just going in on my chart, and I'm like, what is this RA? What is RA? Why do I keep seeing RA? Right ascension. And I go and I check my books in the right ascension declination. Why is this important? And that made me go even deeper into the different concepts of different, astrologers. And David Cochran had this beach ball kind of like demonstration of how to reconcile and contemplate declination and declination and right ascension. And I was like, this is genius. Let me see what other videos he got. And it didn't dawn on me till I realized, what software is he using? So I'm the type of person that I know a lot of file sharing communities where people will spend thousands of notes on software, and I don't have to, because I know file share communities. However, this one particular software, that was just not possible, right? And so I was like, all right, I yield. And I got a chance to, and getting it, and was able to speak to, I think it was David's, daughter, respectfully saying, because they're a family business, family of astrologers. And, she answered the phone. They're very kind, very sweet, very helpful. Even when I thought I had some issues with the troubleshooting, Faye answered, they put me on the phone with, Faye Cochran. David, David, Cochran, Cochrane, the former president of the International Society for Astrological Research. Faye Cochran, FEICOCHRANE. And just check them out. And the astrology software is Sirius 3.0, Cosmic Patterns Software, I think, .com. And they got many types. However, what I realized now, after studying all astrology software, developers, because when you go back in 1972, one of your first software revealers, and when he tells his story, Michael Earlywine, EARLEWINE, guitarist and astrologer. A lot of Michael Earlywine books are just really amazing. But Michael Earlywine was telling his story to Brendan Scott. Was it his last name Scott? It's Brendan Scott. Him and his team of astrologers, they're really awesome too. But if you're not really into kind of sober sounding, almost nerdy-ish astrology, they might, it might not be your cup of tea. So you might find somebody to stimulate you a little more. But Brendan is pretty cool. He was interviewing Michael Earlywine, and Michael Earlywine was telling the story about back in 1972 when I wasn't even, born yet. I wasn't manifested yet, pardon me. He's using 8K to make an astrology software, and the astrologers at that time was like, oh no, astrology is over. Who's going to automate readings? How dare they sell readings? No, the art is over. However, what actually happened, because in my studies thus far, I love using my compass and square to draw charts, and I also love using my software. The books, the encyclopedias that I have, they're in the software too. And there are a lot of people who learn astrology that I've learned. They didn't get it the way I got it. I got it through books, searching on my own, people giving me books, and then eventually I learned about the softwares. Where a lot of people are astrologers, have huge followings on YouTube. I mean, they're huge astrologers, but they have only learned by having Sirius 3.0. And they can't really explain the technical basis behind certain things. They may use maybe less than 5% of the software, because the software can be used for all types of astrology, and all astrologers that have developed software, they're all together. And David's like the lead spokesperson for all of it, because even Michael Earlywine software is within this software.
Let me ask you this. So when you have a course called Astrology 101, and I know 102 is getting ready to start, and then you're probably going to do another 101, I guess, for the new crop of students that will be coming in. Do you supply, as a part of the course, any the software? Do they have access? Because I know you, like you said, you file share, but you have access to. So does the students rather get any software to help them and aid them in their studies of astrology with the Astrology 101 course?
Now, the short answer is yes. The whole answer, the full answer, the complete answer, is no. The no is to this, this it is not serious 3.0. However, I have thought, and I'm speaking with a few of the people now after doing the Astrology 101 workshop. Now we will be meeting every Sunday for Prophet Noble Drew Ali University. It's official. And we'll be meeting on Zoom every Sunday. And it's just a brief donation, whatever you can give, at least 5, 10 notes on Cash App. That's not the workshop, but what we plan on doing is, because I said, hey guys, if I get, raise a little more funds, I would love to get serious again, but make it a student account. But what I would have to do is remotely install it on all the different students that are a part of, astrology, a part of Prophet Noble Drew Ali University. All right. So, and what I would do, that's for that. But now the Astrology 101 workshop, as I sent to you as well on the drive, because now I have put and made it on the drive, and everybody can still, if they missed the Astrology 101 workshop, they can still get it. However, the eleemosynary tuition is still the same. It's 135 notes in lieu of lawful money via the Cash App. Alrighty, but you will get everything. You will get all the literature, and I put not just the one software that I introduced, which is Astrolog 6.50, which is a free download, and it is awesome. It is awesome. It's just not high definition like Sirius 3.0. However, the material in it, if you know how to read and you know what you're looking at, it is amazing. All right. For it to be a free software, Astrolog 6.50. I give that within the file on the drive when you get it from me. And I also give you the baby version to Sirius 3.0, which is behind me, which is Cosmic Star. It's the baby one, but you can at least still cash charts that's vivid like that. So all of the people that exchanged their eleemosynary tuition and those that were already in my immediate circle of astrologers that a lot of people don't know that even exists. And it's a lot of active Moors, very, youthful active Moors already. Everybody got that email this morning, including you, Dr. Naila. So everybody got that drive and it's only if your name is on the list for that Google Drive, if you transacted for it or you have contributed some kind of way to bringing this, together, then, only your name is on that list and you can access it. It is downloadable. And since it's, I learned from the astrological communities from our Albion sons and daughters, they do not post their workshops online. They may post snippets and things of it, but when it comes to the meat and potatoes, no cameras. You have to turn your phone off if you can't control yourself. I'm picking up your phone. Trust me, I know. However, we want you guys to be able to download them so you don't have to always rely on the internet and the link, and you can just have it. But that don't mean, let's throw it up on YouTube. I'm telling you, because it's a lot of people. Saying
once they get it to guard it as it was set.
Yeah, because everybody contributed for it to be what it is. It's not just me. You got a lot of people who have contributed their energy. It's not we got our Moors that's putting our brick and mortar things together, and guys know me. I'm a electronics nerd. So when people contribute their energy to things to do here, platforms here, it's a lot of things coming. My solar return is the 8th of July. After July 8th, we're gonna have some fun. All righty, we're gonna make sure you guys are straight. But to answer your question, yes, free software is in the first week. The first week is 5 files you'll get with the one file once you get access to the Astrology 101 workshop 2020. Once you've transacted your eleemosynary tuition, all righty, and once you get that, you'll have everything. You can download everything. All righty, I do give you 2 free softwares. All righty, to make sure you have what you need. I yield the floor. My apologies.
How should they get in contact you with I know we have here your Instagram at 7th Heel Star and your email, Hasan Ghaziel Bey at gmail.com, but we don't have your how do they register? And then also not just registration for class, you have people who are interested in getting readings, because I even see some of that are coming up. that are interested in does one contact you to have a reading? And what types of readings do you do?
Well, on first of all, yeah, guys, if you want to really get your hands on me, 443-376-8764 is the Google voice line. I ain't hiding. I do have a hard line, but my hard line is for those that once I find out you got an iPhone, and if we need to FaceTime or I can iMessage you quicker than doing it through the Google Voice, I'll give you that number. But 443-376-8764 and that email that's right there are the best. Or you can email
443-376-8764. Okay.
Right. And pardon me. And email Hasan Ghaziel Bey at gmail.com. And that 7heelstar at Instagram, you can DM me or email 7heelstar at gmail.com. Right. Usually when I'm utilizing or doing things through, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali University, because that's where I'm focusing on the Astro Civics. And I figured, the movement wouldn't be recognized without Prophet Noble Drew Ali being ahead. So that's why I chose to call it Prophet Noble Drew Ali University. As far as when you come to the Zoom. So, the people contributed immediately in class Sunday when I said, hey, guys, I'm going to take your tuition. Right, that you've been, and I'm finding ways of reinvesting what you've given me, even though, I know I got to do, things for myself, but I don't look at it like, oh yeah, I just gave a lecture, now I'm bowling. No, I'm like, all right, what's the next step for you guys, right? So I was like, I'm going to take 149 notes and 90 cents of it and make sure you guys have a permanent Zoom that we can go to so that we don't have to be cut off after 40 minutes. Even though, United Republic of Morocco, huge shout out for allowing me to be able to, present, astrology 101 workshop and allowing me to be able to, take the helm at times, to be able to trust me to be consistent. Right. So shout out to them. So I'm just learning from them and following their footsteps, because what if they're, teaching and running things and we have to have a meeting? So the Moors immediately, was like, pew, 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 Cash App. Ching, 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 ching. I was like, oh, can't mess around. So you guys wanted a Zoom that was permanent for the year. Cool. We got it. All righty. So our first astrological meetup, that's not 27 notes a week. It's at least a 5 note, send to the Cash App. And we're going to make sure you have whatever, because on my computer, the Cash App is the caduceus symbol, or what you call a $sign.
Oh.
Our Astrology Street, OURASTROLOGYSTREET. Okay. Our Astrology Street. All righty. And that's what that's just kind of what I'm focusing on, right? Because, like I said, one, I would love to get a student account for Sirius, so that, us being Moors that, and we're a part of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali University, you have access to the software that I'm teaching from, because they're not just 20-year-olds in the class. There are people that are in their 70s that are in these classes on the weekend. So there's like 5 generations in these classes, guys. So some people eyesight would prefer Sirius, even though it's a half a rack, so it's going to take us to get it, or the people to contribute. And then I'll just reach out to David and them and just like, hey, we need another account for our school so the students can have it, our online school, and then you guys can have access to it. But what it would take is that everybody would have to know how to either have a remote access to your computer via Zoom and install on each, everyone's computer individually, or I'll walk you guys through it via email and know how to use it. And everybody would have to respect that they're all using the same account on their computers. So everybody respect what everybody's doing on that one account, but it'll help us be better in having an astrological community according to what Prophet Noble Drew Ali attended for us, according to my studies when I read his literature. And I yield the floor, Islam.
Well, that's great. I mean, I put up your Cash App in the comments here, and I put up your contact information here. So if anyone is interested in signing up for classes, the astrology classes or the weekly group
Yeah, just
meeting.
weekly like astrological community meetup, but just you can
Yeah,
you can give at least 5 notes in the Cash App, but you can give whatever you want, but just at least 5 notes, just to because that can build up, and then we can make a decision as an astrological community what we want to do. Hey, you guys want to take a trip to a science center? Cool, you know what I mean? Because let me segue right here. Let me put this out there on the public real quick. While I said that about taking a field trip, you Moors out there that got y'all CDL, I done talked to a few Moors out there. Shout out to brother Jaren Bey. And because I said, hey, bro, you remember when I said last year that a lot of the Moors with the CDLs, I think if I could get 10 Moors with CDLs and y'all got y'all tractor trailers, can 7 of y'all get rid of y'all tractor trailers, 3 of y'all keep them, and let's get buses? I'm serious now. I'm just going to say it publicly. Because in order for me to get from here to the Baltimore Corporation, when I was coming to House of Reawakening Minds, when I didn't have a ride, I was getting on what we call the China bus, Rockford Tours. And, it's a 12-note ticket there and 12-note ticket back. How did they do it? Because they went and got some buses, some used buses. Why are we not doing that? Don't y'all got CDLs? I'm not judging you, but let's think. I yield the floor. Go ahead, mother. I'm listening.
not a problem. But not only, like I said, is your background in astrology, but like I said, we said it earlier a little bit. We were talking about the theme song that you produced for me, Dr.
Yes.
G. And not only did you do it, but you did it very expeditiously. I think I called you one day and the song was done the next. And we
probably less than 24 hours. Yeah, I just kind of did some edits that made it maybe be about 25 hours, but I was done in about 18 hours. Yes.
Right. Oh, thank you, Sister Tamara. So you do other things. You do the music, the engineering. And I know a long time ago, when we first met, you were giving out the 27 boxes or whatever. I never. You have some music.
37. Yes.
37. 37 boxes. Okay.
27 is cool because that equals 9. I like 27.
Yeah, 27 boxes. 37. Okay. But you give that, you were giving that grace, those grace gifts, you've given it out to people now. And that's kind of is that frequencies that do something in particular?
Yes, that was 2016. I did the pineal activations 1437 because it was 1436 when I made it. So I was like, let me name it 1437 for the lunar calendar year that's to come. Right. And because again, observing Brother Abdullah El Talib Mozi Bey, that was my first experiment at making all the instruments tuned at 432. And that's what I actually meditate to a lot when I go and ground and sun gaze. And I'll have that playing because it's very healing. It allows me to, get a lot of the energy off of me and ground, just kind of just get a lot of things freely off of me, especially after, doing certain, bathings, so to speak. So the pineal activations, 1437, those instrumentals, those trend instrumentals, right? Because TRI standing for 3. So instrumentals goes for Trinidad, right? I tuned them at the same tuning as classical music. I chose a different way to express it though. So even though I chose the frequency that, even though you may hear the certain frequency play that, Chilio, well, yes, please tone it up. I love that song. That ditty there, that's just my jam, yeah. However, what I did was, since I know that frequency is what's utilized, what a lot of people suggest to give mothers that are with child, and the babies end up being very precocious. They come out very sharp too, because that frequency allows them to just be in sync, because that is resonating, according to my studies thus far, with the frequency pertaining to the planet. So it keeps you in sync. That's why it's like, yo, go and ground, take your shoes and socks off, man, and go out there, play that music.
I'm on a grounding. Yeah, right? I'm grounding right now as we speak. I have a grounding pad. So when I'm not outside barefoot, I have a grounding pad that I have from earthing.com, and I sleep on a 200 note sheet, bottom sheet. That's a grounding sheet. And it has made a major difference in my quality of sleep. But you can do it naturally by just going outside, spending about 30 minutes or more, barefoot on the earth instead of on the, with the soles of these synthetic soles on your shoes and so forth. And actually, I remember when my husband was was going through and dealing with issues with his legs, And one of the brothers, who's from, I think he may be from Haiti, and told me to tell him to go outside. It was winter time, that was a problem, to go outside because he's doing blood clots in his legs. If he goes outside and he stands on the ground barefoot, it will dissolve the blood clots. And it's interesting that one of the things that's going on with a lot of the people that have COVID-19 also are developing blood clots. Now, it may be because they laying in the bed too, but the sun and the ground together are two healing forces that people are being denied access to. Maybe they're starting to open up now, but for the last couple of months, people have been told to stay inside. The sun is, to me, been geoengineered to just make peekaboo, appearances, and we haven't had the full. Now in this area, we've had a lot of cloudy days, and when the sun gets out, it's like they're like, no, you're not supposed to be out, and they do whatever they do, and they send the sun back, like, go back. But we know that there's healing. And then I heard something. I was listening. I listen to alt-right news because I need to hear what everybody's saying. So they were saying that they had a word out about what to do, how to keep from getting sunburned when everything reopens. And I was like, well, they're not talking to us because we are sun-kissed. You know what I mean? I wrote that poem about the sun kiss, and I said, we're the sun kissed and they're sunburned, and it's a cosmic love affair for which others yearn. Our relationship with the sun is a loving relationship. It's a kiss. With theirs, it's a burn. Same sun, different, different outcome, So we're being denied the sun's healing rays, which also, it is important that we're born under a sun sign.
Indeed, that's the correlations being made. Indeed. Right. Islam. I was looking at the comments too. You saw my eyes kind of moving to my right. I was looking at the comments, and I think what caught my eye was at 9:38 p.m. Jimmy Lee. Islam, this is me getting my feet wet. First chat I ever did. This is Allah from eBay at Extreme West, Washington State, Seattle. First thing that came to my mind when I saw that was Rick Levine. It's something cafe. It's some cafe out there near the Seattle Corporation that they do astrological meetups, and you should be able to meet Rick Levine. Just look up Rick Levine. You won't be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. I was this close to meeting him, but I didn't have the finances for the biggest astrological conference in the world. It came near the Baltimore Corporation this year. And David Cochran and Rick Levine they actually, for the first time, I think they met each other. I think their solar returns are a month apart, and they had an interview. You guys can see that online. And I was like, ooh, I was this close, because the Baltimore Astrology Society meets in my neighborhood. Like the mansion they meet in is literally like 450, maybe 500 feet from my front door.
So this society is really, they've been meeting, I would assume, for long periods of time. And they deal with what? Because they deal
from my experience,
out beyond.
From my experience, even though it seems kind of hush, for me, Baltimore Astrology Society is the head chapter for the National Council for Geocosmic Research. And what I've seen, even when at the last one I went to in February for Lynn Coiner, if you guys don't know who Lynn Coiner is, LYNNKOINER, I'm telling you, this lady is, oh, your child's got autism? Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. What's his natal chart? Okay, we need to do this, get this from the garden. You don't have this. Okay, go to the apothecary, get that. That's what I saw. That's not what she did, but that's me wrapping it up. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, that's one thing I've experienced. I remember when I went to this is a good Albion daughter, Jeannie. Jeannie does her yearly predictions every year, right? And when I was there, they were going over just predicting how different things are going to go. And then I think I got to meet the president of the chapter near the Massachusetts Bay Commonwealth, I think near Boston Corporation. I got to meet him, and we all went to lunch and dinner after that. Lecture. And in that one, they were specifically speaking about the 8 moon phases. And in that 8 moon phase one, they were speaking about which moon phase set the Oval Office the most. And the answer is, 13 different praetors with the gibbous moon aspect, which is like it's almost full moon aspect in their chart. That's what set the White House the most. And they're talking about these things like our family has been conditioned to talk about chicken and watermelon in basketball. And at first it's scary. But then when I realized, I know exactly what they're talking about. Then I was like, you know what? This is what I see when Brother Taj is like, you want some change to happen? You really want to see some change? Teach the people around you.
And that's what they do. And that's what they do. And
yes, that's what I saw. I was like, you know what? I could sit here and be one of those. Yes, boss. I love being around the Albions and talking astrology, boss. Yes, I love it. And I'm not knocking them, because Joni, the president of Baltimore Astrology Society, I love her to death, because every time I come, I'm usually late. So my apologies, because I'm usually doing things. So my apologies, you guys. But Joni's like, come on, I saved you a seat. I knew you were coming. So the president, Joni's really cool. Alrighty. So anybody near the Baltimore's corporation or the Maryland State Republic, just check the Baltimore Astrology Society, join, because I'm not going to just say, just come and holler at me and check me out and what I'm doing. I mean, what we're doing should be home, but that don't mean go and visit, see what your sons and daughters are doing. Because there's so many astrological societies out there, you'll be like, hold on, this got established when? How come I ain't never heard about this? Hold on, some of y'all gonna find out that y'all gonna find out there are astrological societies that meet a block away from you. Watch what I tell you. And then you're gonna text me, hey, yo, guess what? Brother Hassan, it was crazy, man. You was right, man. This place, I'm just telling you. That's how I felt. Because the same mansion where they meet, the Rosicrucians meet there too every month.
Right. I'm just looking at notes, honors to the platform. Is there any astrology information on today and the present? And I'm assuming Brother Yusuf 7, I don't know if he means what's going on today. So, because you do cast what you call forecast, weather, you call them weather. Is that what?
Yeah, I know I haven't done them the last couple of days because I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes and preparing. So guys, don't get upset. Like, Hassan ain't doing. No, I'm still peace. Greetings, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey. I actually do one tomorrow morning. I am, but I just been preparing.
They can follow your weather of knowing what's going on astrologically overall for the planet, or for Maxim. I don't know what's the period. What's the area that you're covering? Just is it global when you do those?
Let's see what I got up. I think I might have Wilmington up right now. Actually, let me see. I might have. Let me hide that. Just let me know when you go on the screen share. And
okay, here it is.
That's where you are, right?
Yes.
Near the Wilmington Corporation. So just wait for it to generate. What'd you say, Mother?
No, I was saying it wasn't up yet, but I see it's getting ready to come, I guess.
Yeah, it's just taking some time. Sorry, y'all. Ain't nothing worse than broadcasting than some dead air. But don't worry about it. Just be patient with y'all. Just be patient with us. Come on now, y'all. That's the only thing about streaming on a computer. Yeah, but it is. But that's what I'll do is I'll take a look at it. 2 seconds.
So you can do a report on in any area. The question about when Grand Sheikh Taj Sharif Bey will be back will be the first Friday in June. Right now, just for those that are online, and there probably will not be a class on this Friday, which is the 5th Friday. We normally don't do 5th Fridays. We don't do 4 Fridays. Tamarind sometimes do, but we're not sure if this 5th Friday would have been our message in the movie series that started. But because the House of Relocation is under serious reconstruction right now, We're not going to have the message in the movie.
Shout out.
Yeah, but we will be back on the first Friday in June with Grand Sheikh Cathartic Bey, and I'll be on the first Tuesday because I do my show every Tuesday, and I want to thank you, Brother Hassan, for being my third guest. This is so much better than just being on the phone as we were on the other thing, because we get to see each other.
Islam.
Okay. Well, it was up there and then it disappeared. Did you take it down?
It's good. It's good. Here we go. I'm going to hit the start animation button now because I want this to sync to my time right now on my computer. All righty. So as you guys can see, if you can see, this thing should be starting. You'll see the numbers start moving on the outside of the wheel for the house cusps right here. You know, you'll see the minutes in the ascendant change because I got it going by the second. The time here may change every second or every 2 seconds or whatever, you know, so. And it's probably because my processor is like, I'm trying to move as fast as you want me to. But let's look at something for right now. So even right now, you know, people asking, and, you know, me being, sun sign Cancer in the tropic, the moon is finishing up its transit in Cancer right now, right? And it's actually applying, let's see, is it anything at 29? No. 27, 38. Okay. It's actually kind of going semi-sextile to Mercury. Sort of, but right now, if people were to use,
hold up, what's semi-sextile?
Semi-sextile is 30 degrees away. Because if you see right here, 27 degrees Gemini, 38 minutes, right? That's where Mercury is. From here to 27 degrees Cancer, when it gets to 38 minutes, then it will be exactly 30 degrees away from Mercury. Alrighty, so that's a semi-sextile, but that's not one of the major aspects. So the last major aspect that the moon made was to Jupiter. Jupiter's at 27 degrees Capricorn, all right, which means it was opposite Jupiter. So that energy that was there, which we've been riding on most of that energy, this interview. And that's, you know, me expounding upon, because the moon would be mother, all righty. And it's in Cancer. So this would be me having a personal new moon or emergence. This is like an emerging crescent moon for me. Right now after me having a personal new moon for my son to be in Cancer, right? So what is actually happening here is a means for me to emerge nourishment to our kindred. See, that's moon nourishment, kindred, Cancer, because that's dealing with, you know, family. However, now we're about to see the moon leave the 8th house. So most of this interview, because in Placidus house system, no matter what the size of the houses are, there will be a planet or position, a celestial body or a point, so to speak, in the houses for 2 hours, because the houses are time based. So for most of this interview, the moon's been transiting the 8th house. Now about to leave the 8th house and begin to transit the 7th house. It's about to be the 7th house, because you see the 7th house is right
backwards, so to speak, of what we would call sort of.
Well, it looks like that because the Earth is rotating this way. So since the Earth is rotating, I'm moving my mouse.
Right.
So right here, this is 26 degrees. This is the 8th house cusp right here. So once it crosses, appears to cross this, because the Earth is spinning this way, it'll be in the 7th house. And the 7th house cusp is here in Gemini. And we would 9 times out of 10, since it'll be at the end of the 7th house, which is partnering or interacting with one another. That's your podcast, right? That's us interacting. Gemini and Mercury being communication, and that's what we're doing, will be at the end of our communication right there. And that's one way you could describe that, because we're being relatively, you know, relating, so to speak. And then I'm a moon in Scorpio, and you have the 11th house cusp, which deals with the internet right there. So my moon would be about right here within the 11th house. Alrighty. So at the same time, with that being said, not only would I be having sort of a personal after a new moon, I would be having a personal, almost kind of a separating moon, trine moon also, which would also kind of resonate with my midheaven in Pisces, which would allow me to be able to share things with you guys over the internet and communicate things that most people haven't revealed. That's that moon again in the 8th house. And by the moon being in the 8th house, and the 8th house cusp on Cancer at this moment, it's ruling that house, and it's comfortable. So it's doing it strong without hindrance. With the sun being there in the sixth house, we're able to speak on the values too, because you also see Venus being the values. The sixth house is your everyday hustle, health, and service, or those that serve you. I'm here, servant worthy of my hire, so to speak, serving you, the people, and then giving you in a creative fashion, because the sun is creativity and it's fun. Alrighty, and we're communicating that because it's in Gemini. We're communicating those values that we can use for our health every day. Alrighty, and serve ourselves every day. And that's through me and Mother Naila partnering seventh house by communicating Mercury again locally, because we're not too far from each other. That's Gemini. And me being the Cancer, revealing those that are eighth house qualities, alrighty, from a maternal sort of kind of point of view that will make us all receptive, as I am expressing my moon from Scorpio, which gets to behind the scenes energy as well, which relates to that current moon in the eighth house. And with that, I yield the floor. Hold on, but the ascendant, Sagittarius, being ruled by Jupiter, again at 27 degrees Capricorn, dealing with land and farming. That's why we, really speaking about the essential things, because one of the good key words for Saturn is essentials. And when I hear that a lot in media or publicly, essential, people don't realize that they're just saying a keyword for Saturn. So I would be focusing on Saturn. And the reason why it's being broadcasted so hard, the word essential, because there's the airwaves of Aquarius. So you got this essential energy at the beginning, all of a sudden being broadcasted. Why everybody saying the word essential all of a sudden? Because it's being heavily broadcasted, because that's Saturn energy. However, Jupiter being at the end of Capricorn is allowing everyone within these last couple of hours to be able to take advantage of higher learning, and that's Sagittarius. With that, I yield the floor.
Islam. Well, that's amazing how, and one can, just look at the bunch of numbers, but you teach, you actually, teach the students how to, in effect, to do what you did, to know about the houses, to know about the trines and the conjunctions and all of the aspects and so forth. And when they go through this, then they have themselves the ability to read their own chart as well as others, look at their own what's good, or should they travel today. I remember I was looking at one of these astrologers. Her last name is Miller, and I didn't look at it this particular month. It's about 3 years ago. And one day
Jane Miller?
No, it's not Jane, but she's very popular. But anywho, okay. I didn't look at it for a month. She usually puts out a big long thing for each sign. And I jumped in the car on a Saturday. I don't know if you remember, and I was taking a road trip to North Carolina, like 4:00 in the afternoon. I just got in the car and drove, traveled by myself to North Carolina. I went to see, matter of fact, Jerry Miller, who was my first guest for my first show. So I went to North Carolina. I got back, and about, a few weeks later or something, I decided to look at the astrological forecast that she had for Pisces for that particular month. And on the exact date that I drove to North Carolina, it said that I would take an impromptu trip. On the exact date, I had not looked at that. And that's the day I got in the car and I traveled alone to North Carolina territory and to go to a metaphysical conference that Jerry and his wife Sandra were vending at. And my friend Deborah and Dennis, they lived in North Carolina. So when I got there, I saw what do you call it? A meteor or asteroid, something streaking across the sky on my way there. And I get there like around 12 midnight, 1 o'clock in the AM, maybe, and I, that next day we went to the conference. But the fact that it was in my chart that I was going to make that trip, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't see it until a week or so later when I read it. And I was like, wait a minute, that's the exact same date. I just jumped in a car and drove to North Carolina. So there's a lot of things that we miss. You know what I mean? You can forecast a chart and then kind of know. Susan Miller, you're right. You're right. So thank you. And she puts out really good, forecasts. And a lot of times I've gone back and looked at things and seen where it actually happened the way she said. But what we're saying is that we can learn how to do that too with proper training. Everybody doesn't. Yeah.
Indeed, I was thinking when I said Jan, pardon me. I think that's Jan
It's Sue.
Spiller.
Yeah,
Pardon
Sue
me,
Miller. Yeah,
Spiller.
yeah. Sue.
And to Bantu Mandika, oh, you got all that water in your chart that explains it. That's only in a tropic. It's only in tropic astrology. In other systems, I'm definitely not water at all. at least for the major parts. But everybody has every sign in their chart. I yield, Mother Naila.
What before we go, because we're gonna, what is mirror? Because that's something you do. Am I right?
Yes, that's one of the services that I provide out of the 4 basic services that I provide immediately. Mirror session, you get a 2 to 3 hour session with me. Just to cut to the chase, it is 101 as far as the eleemosynary tuition for the mirror session, where it's a one-on-one class. Alrighty, where we actually, I take you through the canvas pertaining to my mind of how I read astrology charts, and it's a one-on-one session when we take at least 2 to 3 hours. Alrighty, and we actually, in the first portion, I do a brief Trinity analysis. The second portion, we see if you can see. I'll just call it that. And the third portion is where we actually get into the actual mirror session, where you actually learn astrology by analyzing your own chart, and I just guide you through how to do so that even if you never spoke to me again and went to another astrologer, at least you're illiterate enough and have the notes necessary to go and journey with any other astrologer you please. That's that. For the 50 notes in lieu of lawful money, it is the medical astrology report as well. However, that's what you would gift for your eleemosynary tuition. I'll spend about an hour with you. Usually, if it's an hour reading, I'll spend about another half, but I just call it an hour. But I usually spend about an hour and a half with you for the eleemosynary tuition for 50 notes in lieu of lawful money. And I'll just be analyzing your 6th house and other things that pertain to it. The What's My Purpose reading, that is the 30 notes in lieu of lawful money for the eleemosynary tuition on that. So that, and it's just a specific planet where I'll kind of, look at that and just give you a delineation based on that. Then the actual Who Am I reading is 20 notes in lieu of lawful money. And that's the 15-minute reading. Spend about 20 minutes, 25 minutes with you. The half an hour reading, I'll spend about half an hour to 45 minutes with you. So with that being said, that's what I provide on the surface, but I've done synastry charts for couples, just like relationship, interaspecting charts. How does this person's chart interaspect with that? I've done people's pets, to see, why they feel about their pet, how they do. And then when they tell me the date and then I look at it, I'm like, oh man, that is just spot on. Why you and your pet get along like that. People wanting to, hey man, I want to do this to these people in court. So what should I do when I put my paperwork in? What would be a good day? And then I'll be like, I'll look at that and I'll be like, oh, okay. So I do those things. Like I sent you a graph of like business success. Mm-hmm. And you had told me you had some success in just some, something you were experimenting with. I won't give details. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Look at this graph. And he was like, what? I said, well, you said you had success at this time. You're riding that wave. And look, it's going to get even better on that date. So you're just getting a taste of it.
Right. So,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was awesome. Joshua Dickerson asked if you have a package with all the readings. If somebody wanted all of them, is there like a package deal? I would assume that, where one could get all 4 of the things that you do in a package.
I'm going to say, as humbled I am by that question, I will say, even though I'm mentioning what the eleemosynary tuitions are, when people usually call me for astrology, I can kind of hear what they really need. And usually when people have called me, man, I need all of them. So which one should I start off with first? And then I'd be like, okay, hold on. Because I could be the type that, you know what? You should just get the one for 101. No. I actually just listen to them, and when I can hear, no disrespect, naivety in their voice, I'll be like, what's your son? What matter of fact, I'll show you what I do with someone like that. Joshua, do you mind? And if you don't, if you do mind, then just don't do what I'm about to ask. Just give me the month and day. I promise I'll keep my hands up. I won't type anything in any software. Just give me the month and day. Give me your month and day. When you manifested out the womb. What's the month and day?
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to see what he says, or if anybody wanted to give their month and day. But I'll usually show you what I do when somebody is, I can tell they're on fire and they're excited.
8/11. August
Okay,
11th.
so August 11th, or is that, November 8th? Okay, got you. August 11th. Okay, because you never know. Some people give you that European style of dating, because we're talking astrology now. So I don't know what people know. People could be testing me. But all right, good. Thank you. You told me. August 11th. Wow, everybody's September 28th. May 31st. Somebody got a solar return coming up. Goodness gracious. Oh, hold on, slow down. Not everybody wants them. All right, August 11th, right? So in my head, in my mind, the first thing I would do about August 11th, I would know, okay, that's technically Leo. So when does the sun enter Leo? I do in my head. Well, generally speaking, we normally see the sun enter Leo about July 22nd. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. So that means 31 days are in July. So from 28 to 31 would be about 9 days. So then he said August 11th. So 11 plus 9 is 20. So he's about 20 degrees Leo. So now that I know he's about 20 degrees Leo, I could do in my head what's called a modified heliarch chart. Usually a heliarch chart is when you put the Greenwich Mean Time, you put the sun in you put the time for 12 Greenwich Mean Time. Alrighty, so you're always going to have the sun at the midheaven if you were near Greenwich, England. However, what I do, I kind of modify the heliarch chart and just practicing with other astrologers in the past and even currently. I'll put your sun degree on the ascendant, even though I don't know the time you were born, and even though I didn't ask for it. What I can do now is I can analyze your personality, your ego and personality, and I can analyze the first level to your soul. What I mean by that, and I'm not trying to scare you, however, I do know that 20 degrees Leo is the same as when you speak in Navamsha or the ninth harmonic, which is where you can analyze the secret of the number 9, which pertains to the soul, pertains to even if you're going to have any children with you 20 degrees Leo. Children don't know when to stop playing with you, for one. You have to be like, can you get your son, please? Kind of energy. It will also have you have the kind of energy that's in 7. Libra, very, very Libran energy, type of energy. Let me see if I saw that right. Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra. Yeah, that's Libra Navamsha. So that means that the way your soul would be colored with a 20 degree Leo, right? And again, I'm not typing anything already. So with a 20 degree Leo sun sign, yeah, very playful, very about comedy, look younger than what you are. Actually, probably something about you that's playful. When you get sleepy, you get silly. That's a possibility. These are tendencies. I'm not saying this is the gospel. However, when it comes to how you really like to play with, if I put the first house on 20 degrees, that would put your 5th house at 20 degrees. This is me hypothetically just going off of 8/11. That will put your 5th house on Sagittarius. So the way you like to play is actually what I'm doing right now. He's like a child that loves cake and can't stand vegetables right now. It's just oh yes, brother Hassan, tell me some more. I'm just joking, like how I'm saying it, because I'm very animated like that when I do things. However, with the 5th house to pertain to your ego and personality, when it comes to higher learning, you really enjoy that. You have fun with it to the point where it's probably one time in your life you just went to go hear people talk just so that you can get the fulfillment out of that high that you get, or that yay, you know how when people eat a lot of candy, it's like woo, they get, someone who would have a Leo ascendant, just ego heliarch chart, just modifying, because that might not be the time you were born. You might not have Leo on ascendant. You might not have been born around sunrise. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, with that being said, an ascendant at 20 degrees Leo, you would have your 5th house at 20 degrees Sagittarius, so your 9th house would be at 20 degrees Aries, which means you're probably really close to your grandmother or grandfather. Which one is it? Who did I do that for? I'm forgetting who I was talking to. I'm so sorry. Was that
Joshua? Right?
Joshua, right? Yeah. So am I right or wrong, Joshua? What did I do there? Goodness gracious, y'all put so much up there. My
ASP is Libra, whatever.
Oh, the ascendant is Libra too. Look at bad. So if your ascendant is Libra and you have a Leo, if the ascendant is Libra, right, and you have a Leo sun sign, so that means you were probably born around, don't tell me. I'm going to have him born like between 9 and 11:30-ish, probably 9:30 and 11-ish. Because
He
if
said it
I'm
was his
thinking,
grandmother, that he was close to his grandmother.
yeah, very real close to the grandmother, very close to the point where even probably you and your mom lived with your grandmother for some point of time. You was probably even kind of raised at some point of time. When mom had to go to work, grandma was there to watch you and stuff. Boy, you better go and get that tub, turn that TV off, go and get in there, take that shower. That was how kind of what it was. If the church changed the calendar and added year, did it affect the? Okay, let's do that too. When you really start getting into the mathematics and stuff, you'll really, again, remember I told y'all my mindset when I approach things, I don't get into demonizing stuff. I don't get into my mind isn't militant and it doesn't demonize, because that's unfair to myself and you guys, because it will color what I present. So what I look at is what has been done, how has it been used, and how can I utilize it to make corrections for us. That's how I look at it. So instead of looking at it like, oh, they changed the years, now my mindset is, what calendar are they using? Just like if somebody goes, what system of astrology are you using to do this reading in your mind? Well, in my mind, I'm just doing a tropic. If I did Vedic and I said you're a 20-degree Leo, you would really be a Vedic Virgo, which means really at the end of the day, it surprises me that you allowed me to do this out public, because you feel obviously comfortable for me to dig in certain secrets. Because Virgo, that's the last one that really, people think, Scorpio or Cancer get real moody or mad. Dig in a Virgo's closet and they didn't allow you, you're going to see a hurricane. Alrighty, so let me see if I'm saying that right again. Hold on, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I was off. Cancer, not Virgo. I went forward instead of backwards. Cancer. So now with that, delineating that, you actually be a Cancer, and that's funny because Jupiter would be opposite your Vedic degree right now. Where Jupiter is right now, it would be opposite your Vedic degree if I looked at that right. But that would be me trying to compare your Vedic chart to the current tropic chart. I just did something else in my head that I shouldn't have done because I'm not going to explain it right now, but I just did that. However, that would put you to be someone in the Vedic astrology, how's your garden? Good brother. How's the garden, Joshua? What is it about gardening that you've just recently done? It has to be. If you've done nothing, cool. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't mind you telling me I'm wrong. I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong or off too. Remember, these are tendencies I'm going off of. I can't see your life, but I'm thinking, what's going on with it there.
While you're doing that, can you look at for Sadie Sade Renee, July 6, 86, born at 6:28 p.m. I don't know where.
She's definitely ascendant. If she was, PM. Okay, so you're a Capricorn ascendant possibly. Because I think July 6th, that'll put her at about 86. Maybe 14 degrees Cancer. 14 degrees Cancer would be the 6th of July. 86 would make her 2 years after the year of the rat, because this year is the year of the rat. So, girl, your year coming in 2 years, girl. 2022. No, I'm joking. Sort of. That's the Chinese New Year.
Joshua said they cut his grass for the first time.
Okay, that's why I said something with gardening had just recently happened. That's because I'm looking at him being a Vedic Cancer. So the Vedic Cancer at about 27 degrees, even though I'm still probably doing something that most astrologers say, you cannot apply the tropic to the Vedic. But for some reason, I know that energy is correlative and fractal. You know what I'm saying? In harmonics. So it's just like, I got a feeling something with gardening happened recently. And that's what he answered. I'm not making it up. I'm just going off of knowing what I've learned from repetition of reading the books and going over the software as I yield. So Sadie, right? Right?
Yeah.
All right. So Mother Sade, I'm just looking at I think you're a Capricorn ascendant from that time. Again, I typed in nothing. But I know the times though, based off of kind of where. So the sun is either in your 7th house.
July, it's not. That's ascendant, but that's not sun, right?
Her sun is Cancer, but her ascendant, which is
Or
the
her
eastern
sun.
horizon, because it's
Yeah.
PM. If it was 6:28 a.m., she would be a Cancer ascendant. But since
Okay.
it's 6:28 p.m., I'm suspecting off the top of my head, and if I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. But I think she's a Capricorn ascendant, so that means the sun was just setting because it's July. So she's got a seventh house. She's got a seventh house Cancer sun. I'm almost sure of it now. 6:28 p.m. Sun ain't setting until about 8 o'clock around that time. It's just 2 days after the Heliac horizon of Sirius. So yeah, it was the seventh house. I'm going to probably even say, now correct me if I'm wrong, it might even be just at the beginning of the eighth house, about to enter the end of the seventh house kind of sun sign. Which one is it? I would love to go and cast a chart, but if you already doing astrology, you guys already have experience with typing the thing, just answer. What is it? You know what I'm saying? If you can, just tell me what it is. But if I go off of that, her sun sign, if I was to, she gave me a time, so I'm going to go off of that. That means her fifth house, if I did an equal house chart, right? Her fifth house would be Taurus, and her ninth house is Virgo. So she loves to learn detail. Like when it comes to, did you go to hair school, Sade? Because Virgo deals with the nervous system, and the ninth house with Virgo means you went to like hair school or something, cosmetology. It just say no if I'm wrong. I'm just guessing, but I got a strong feeling. Something with hair, or maybe you help somebody with their hair business. I don't know. Did your grandmother have a salon, or your mom, and you helped her with it or something? I kind of feel that energy. I kind of, yeah.
Let me see if she responds.
Yes, it is Sade. Yes, what is the yes, it is Sade that he's in? Well, that's why I'm learning. Oh, okay.
No,
I'm sorry.
that
That's right.
was
Sorry.
earlier. That's
Okay,
earlier.
I'm ignore that. So, let me go to the Capricorn ascendant.
I do hair. Look, do you see? I do hair.
Are you serious?
That's what she said.
Goodness gracious.
Hold on. Shouldn't be surprised. She said, I do hair.
Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all right. I'll get to you, Bantu. I definitely will. Respectfully, I just wanted to just make sure I keep my bearings. And I just I just twisted my hair today. See, yeah, I just felt that energy. I gotta admit, I don't sell my psychic energy, but when Brother Taj says you don't go out here thinking you're special, psychic abilities is something we all can do on the planet, and that's true. So a lot of times when you guys allow me into your aura like that, and I know my intentions, because I'm here to assist. So I'm not here to I got your natal information. No, we got too many problems on the planet as it is. Let's get this thing together, because if any of us got to come back to the planet, wouldn't we rather come through a Stargate that's been kind of coming from somebody that's been teaching this stuff or this realm, and it's like, whoo, all right, good. We came from a good stock this time, because that last stock, boy, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, Capricorn, you're very serious in how you come out, to the point where a Capricorn ascendant like Sade, I think she had to learn how to come off serious in a way that now, Sade, I think you use your seriousness in a way to, to your advantage, so people can't take advantage of you in business. That's also what makes you be very creative in your finances, because with the fifth house on Taurus, fifth house being creativity, sex, children, the stage, Taurus being finances, wealth, how you like to spend, fine foods too. You probably can really cook, or you really enjoy fine foods. Like you probably, it's been crushing you because you couldn't get your favorite sushi these last couple of weeks, or if you could, you've been happy that you could, that they're your favorite sushi spot still open type energy. With that fifth house there, because even though I said food, but I'm just thinking creativity, because being creative or really enjoying yourself, because that's fifth house. But I know Venus is really into like delicacies and richness, especially food and wealth and things like that. It's like, that Taurus is you holding the, how some people hold their grapes and be like, You know, that's probably how she eats them when she's home. That's that Capricorn. But when she get to be out at a restaurant or something she likes, she's holding it's not a grape, it's a grape, and she's holding it like this.
Do you see what she put down there? Do you see what
You
she
know,
wrote? Do you see what she
hold
wrote?
on, hold on, let me see. I'm trying to get there. Oh my God, hold on. That's my computer, y'all. So give me a second. Laugh out loud. Yes, I'm a self-proclaimed chef. I do cook. Wow. All right. Y'all gave me goosebumps on that one.
So, but you know what?
I'm
You
really
know,
just going off the energy.
everybody's going to put their information out. But what I suggest to everybody is you take down Hassan's contact information. He's doing this right off the cuff.
Yeah, on top of my head. No, I'm not typing anything. I'm not looking at anything.
Right
Phone's
now.
off.
He's just doing
just
doing this based on what he knows. And you know, and I would love, you know, when my guests are on, like I want to thank you all who were on last week, for instance, because my last week guest has been inundated with people, you know, contacting them. Yeah, 720 blends. You know, they've called me and they are like eternally grateful for your all's response. And by the same token, what I want to hear from Brother Hassan in the next couple days is, Dr. G, they have been calling me for readings, for classes, and for, you know, me to do some engineering and doing their theme song or doing it what even creative stuff. We didn't put it there, but he does graphic work too. So
and puppets. And I'm looking for people to start working with me. I can't do all this stuff myself now. I can teach these skills if you guys are serious.
He has how many? I don't know if you all know about his Astrology Street, but he has these puppets that will teach. Well, it's, I think when you did it, I remember when you were making your little boxes, and you gave us all when you had that first astrology class at the House of Real Awakening Minds, and then you went on to creating Astrology Street, which is like it's such and you know you hear him making these little high-pitched squeals. Well, he does the voices for what is the puppet's name? The main puppet. Can you pull
Moroccan Roy? I was going to show you your Pisces one, but I got my chroma key on, so it's not going to show. So, but it's Moroccan Roy. I'm gonna try to find one that I can use that it won't bleed. But yeah, Moroccan Roy.
Yeah, I don't know whether you can pull him up on the you know your little So
you know what? Maybe... Go ahead, I'm listening.
If you could pull him up or pull up one of your little videos and see if we can't show, because you can, what state is out of? I'm not sure what, that's what state is this coming out of? Because we're in two different states right now. That's the beauty of live streaming. Yeah. There's somebody said, yeah, I need some dope graphic designers, Bantu, Mandika. You all need to connect. But where's you have your puppet with you? Or no, he's not.
No, I don't, because I'm at the second office, right? Okay. So I'm about 15 minutes from my main. And
well, my main is something up on the screen. Like, can you bring up your
I'm going to actually let me see if I can actually go to YouTube. Let me screen share and let me go to YouTube. Let me see if I can do that, right?
Because
go ahead, I'm listening.
The sister Jasmine wants to know if she can call your Google number from the UK.
The UK Zoom would probably be the best. I do have WhatsApp on the phone. I just gotta reload it. It's offloaded right now because I just haven't been using it. But Zoom would probably be the best if you have Zoom, and I'll give you the Zoom link, and we can just link up via the Zoom. That way you can see me. I can share my screen. If you need any documentation that I mentioned, I can just share the file in the chat on Zoom. You know, and I'm just thinking it's much better that we just kind of maybe just take things to Zoom. And if you want, you know what I mean, because the reason why I'm taking in exchange for the meetings is because when in these astrological societies, I learned the reason that they're taking the little donations or whatever, or like at least 5 or 10 for when they come in for these meetings, is because you can get the recordings later, as long as you just don't post them. And with Zoom, we can record to the cloud, then I can download it, and then I can send you the file to your readings too. So that's the reason why I'm just saying it's more than just me reading. We're doing a little bit of technical work too. But let me bring it up. I'm going on YouTube and bring it up. And I'm going
Yeah, I even love your intro.
Islam.
Wow.
I appreciate you all. Mother Naila, you've given this is your third time. Your third time you've given me a shot on your platform. You took a chance on me in 2015, August 22nd, 2015 on High Frequency Radio. And you had me on the next week after that because there was a huge demand then as well after that first one. And I was just really I just wanted to share how we all should just be studying together, and it really turned into what it is now. You know, let me see if I can get this to move a little faster. I know it's because I'm trying to double stream and all these other things or put up a video. So if I can't do it here, do you know how I could actually do it? Is I can go to I'm gonna bring up my OBS here. So pardon me. So I'm gonna bring up OBS and let me see if I can actually mirror it through my phone here, right? And I'm going to bring up a program that I have here called Lonely Screen. Alrighty, and I'm going to open up Lonely Screen and I'm just going to mirror my iPhone, right? And that's what I'll do. Let me actually open my iPhone, and you guys can see this Lonely Screen now, right? Can you guys see that?
I haven't added it yet.
Okay,
I'm waiting to see your. I'm waiting till it comes up and then I'll add it to the stream.
Alrighty, Islam. Well, I'm gonna go to my YouTube really quickly, and let me go to because I'm already on my Astrology Street account already. Exit out of that. My channel, and I am there, and let me mirror my screen, and I've selected Love Humanity, and there we go. Right.
Okay.
All right, so this is my iPhone, guys. Let me blow this up for you. Let me move and hide this. Can I turn it sideways yet? Okay, let me go to videos, right? And let's just go to Pisces, because I think I got you at the beginning of Pisces, Mother Naila. So let me scroll and see where is the Pisces.
I don't think I did.
Hold on, I got you. You in the beginning.
Oh, really? I didn't remember that.
I don't think it's going to let me play it because I'm streaming it too. Oh, this is so horrible. So that's what it is, guys. Okay, this is what's happening. I want to be able to play videos, but since I'm mirroring my screen, the software doesn't allow me to do it. And then since I'm streaming as well, I'm trying to stream YouTube and be able to stream through StreamYard. So for right now, what I will do is just satisfy you guys by saying, when you go here, I did go through every zodiac sign. Alrighty. Some of these, though, I really wish this could really turn, and it just doesn't. But some of these, though, are like little short. Pardon?
Let me see. I was trying to bring mine up.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that.
Let's see if I can do that.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop my screen share. That'll be great. Let me stop my. Am I stopped? Okay, stopping it.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to bring mine up. Well, we hear the music.
Yeah, it sounds great.
That's some of
I stopped my screen share already, Mother.
I don't think I see Dr. G's screen. Let me see. I don't know why I'm not showing it. I'm trying to get it up there. I see it, but I can't get it.
Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah, there you go. And I'm putting together the Aquarius block. That was the webisode with Brother Taj and Mother Delilah when I went near near Shakamatsu, near the Philadelphia Corporation. Okay, that is you. That is your screen sharing. Yeah, you're just mirroring. But yeah, there you go. That's all you need to do. Yeah, this is why they tell you when you screen share, you need dual monitors.
I'm going to get a second monitor. I'm going to get that.
And it's just showing, Brother Taj holding up the astrology, my first astrology coloring book, because I also have prepared my own literature. And that's what, that is there. You have the blocks. The main thing is my first astrology coloring book and the blocks. Pardon me, I had hit the W by mistake. So what I have here.
Yeah, you tell
me what I have here. And this is what you say?
What part of the body? What is, yeah, I just tell them.
showing the sign, showing its ruling planet, so to speak, and the different things. And this is for, that's introductory level. People would say it's, it's childish or whatever. And, there's the puppets there in my first, office, which I'll be returning to my first office tomorrow. And you guys will be seeing me probably do a broadcast from there, but I'll be doing my weather report. Alrighty, from there. Got to treat a piece of friendship behind them, just put some things in there that'll hit the baby's subconscious mind as they're watching, to maybe get them to study. Like, what was that paper behind Moroccan Roy? It's treat a piece of friendship. But anyway, yeah, so I got, literature here. Remember when I did my first astrology 101 workshop at House of Reawakening Minds on April 21st, 2018. That was the first one I ever did. So this commemorates that. So this is the book. This is the teacher's edition. So I laminated my covers or whatever. But, you get that. You get, nationality, the adept invoking, because I call my series of literatures that I've prepared adept invoking. All right. And I call it's not really a series as much as it's a parallel. That's a I'm Moroccan Roy. Yeah, that's me. That's when I was in fresh learning how to, get my voice together.
Let me take it. I would take this. Well,
indeed. So.
Oh, there you go again. So,
it's time for Astrology Street.
And so, yeah, go let it play. All the voices are me.
To Astrology Street. Let's learn about all the planets we see. Saturn, Texas, Saturn, Mars, Moon, Mercury. Come on, everybody, to Astrology Street. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Well, the cycle doesn't end. Come along and study with me, my friends.
Yeah, I do all the voices, guys. I literally recorded Astrology Street right here on this iPhone 6S that I still got to get the screen fixed on. But I made those puppets out of socks, different things. I make my own stands for them. I mean, I'm really about to think about, since, you guys know one of the main executive producers is, and I'm going to, because I'm honorable. And I'll mention Mother Araya Minford Jarrell. And, I was even thinking like, you know what? She has pets. She has cats. And you have Cat Williams. And, I was like, I was thinking about getting, a cat PlayStation. And then I was like, you know what? Don't throw any boxes away that come in here. I mean, I find some scrap, fabric, or get some felt or some type of material that they could scratch on. And I'm telling you, because I make the stands for my puppets myself. I'll take old cardboard old cardboard cylinders and different platforms. And the next thing you know, I'm working my hot glue gun and felt. And now I have a puppet stand. There's some more out there that have ordered puppets from me because, respectfully saying, this is why I won't say any appellations, but a lot of times people have children with learning disabilities. And when some people had asked me, they was like, what do you mean when you said, I saw one of your lectures, what did you mean when you said you can use the puppets to stimulate people? I said, because what I realized was when I do this, if I do this right now and just had this right here and just keep talking, and you guys really can't even see my face, really what you're going to do, your mind is going to start looking at my rings as eyes, but my hand is moving, my thumb is moving. And then if I start doing things like, you're forgetting that it's me behind the hand, because now you're focused on the hand the whole time. So what
puppet on there though, so it,
yeah, you know what I mean? But they would have a puppet, or I actually make rings. Because, I'll take, and shout out to Mother Energy L, who makes these at Cabochons and more. I just been really rough with them because I do so much. But, I just rimmed out some water bottle caps and epoxied it to her organite so I can keep that positive energy on me. However, this is what I utilize to make the little eye puppets that I make. When y'all see me just have Mudras Manny, and he's not a sock, but he's just a ring eyes with a fez on. That's because I just, glued some googly eyes and just carved it out or whatever. And because what I realized was instead of looking for the boom, bing, pow, shabazz, I can use my mind and my creativity because I got tired of being creative and not being able to thrive off it. So Astrology Street was a way for me to express all this stuff I have in me because I can sing, I can make music, I can write, so-called rap, dance, all these other different things. And I was like, how can I express this all in one, but not at the same time, like, oh, I'm just being a superstar. How can I use this to help uplift fallen humanity? And one day I just, that unvelation pertaining to Astrology Street after coming back from one of my brother's rap concerts. If you guys ever heard of Spartacus, was coming back from one of his little rap concerts, and he was like, yo, record this skit for me. And, one of the rappers, GMB Mercs, record this skit for us. And I did it, and I saw how it unfolded. I'm like, yo, that's how you be doing your skits on the phone like this, yo? Because they was funny when he was doing it. Like, yeah. And lo and behold, within 24 hours after that, Astrology Street hit my mind, and I did the theme song, and it made me cry. I cried like a big baby for about 4 hours straight because I was so happy that I felt like I had the answer to expressing all of my talents because I felt like I was screwed. I'm like, I feel like I got to pick, and I didn't want to pick. I wanted to express everything. So if I don't sing, but I did it in the intro. But I can also do it when peaceful greetings, Islam. That's no difference than tender was the kiss when you held me captive in your. I'm just playing with tones. Alrighty, and then playing with those tones, I'm able to go, okay, well, let's see what we can do. That's why sometimes when I quote Brother Taj, people think it's funny, but I'm doing it because I'm also practicing. When he says, trust your own thinking and let no one put their spirit on you. I'm just practicing the tone and the voice because maybe soon I can come up with characters. You know what I mean? In that, but also what I'm doing is too, I've had classical vocal training too. Shout out to Reggie Carr. When he was on the choir when I was little or whatever, and the Baltimore City Police Youth Choir, because they had PAL leagues, for those that know about the PAL leagues. So when we was on, with Major Winkler and Roderick Dodson for the Children's Police Youth Choir, Roderick Carr would take time out of his time after, those meetings, and he would train me. And he was like, man, you got to get these classical techniques down. And I still practice these things. It's just now that I'm much older, now I can utilize them in a way that is not just pay attention to me, watch me rap, sing, and dance. I ain't got no time. I'm not, Ray Shrummerting it out of here. So I figured I could still use that same kind of energy, but present it in a way where Brother Taj says, if you can't make it good for the adults, make it good for the babies. And that's what I did. And I yield the floor.
Well, as we get ready to go, I'm glad we can go over in this time in this venue. But good question. Sister Sade Renee wants to know if you have activities for the parents to do with the puppets, or do they just have to purchase the puppets and play?
See, and I'm glad you asked that. Today I got off a call today. Shout out to Brother Zhao Silver Bay. Out there near the Brockton Corporation, Massachusetts State Republic, Massachusetts Bay Commonwealth, pardon me. And we were kind of discussing that because I'm really thinking of a lot of interactive things from programs. You guys are program developers, software developers. I'm telling you, I'm sitting here with animation software and all types of stuff. I have a lot of the tools in the software. I'm at a point now where it's like, okay, guys, I can't do everything. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to start outsourcing some of this stuff, and we can come together collectively because I can show you guys not only how you can do this just to contribute to Astrology Street for the babies, but you can make other businesses out of this, because Brother Zhao is, from what I learned, I'll put it like this. Before you know it, we could have interactive Moorish American dolls that help teach the babies. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
People will, I'm sure many of the viewers who are going to see this or even seeing this now, and the ones that'll see this in the the days and weeks and months to come, and years to come, will be able to, you'll have among them some will say, hey, yeah, I can do thus and so, and I'd like to contribute that because we've already showed your creativity and your versatility. And it's one thing I think you can actually help others through the readings that you do to kind of find the best in themselves and to, do whatever you can, the things that you can do. Everybody's not a jack of all trades. Go ahead.
May I ask you a question real quick? What's if Bantu is still in the chat? What's the because okay. See y'all, I'm real sensitive, and I know we kind of pass a little bit of time, but just so that I'm not disrespectful and I don't want to leave a sour taste in the air. And I know a lot of y'all asked for me to do a read. Just real quick, what's Bantu's? What's your month and day, real quick, Bantu? What is
Bantu
it?
Mandinka. Yeah.
Yeah, what's because I saw and I remember should be something else y'all should notice about me. I kind of had that Cam Jansen kind of memory for those that remember the books of Cam Jansen. I saw you mention what is my energy in Vedic. I have a Libra moon, but I didn't ignore it. I just made a mental note of it and I made sure I came back to it like I'm doing now. So what is it, Bantu? What is your month and day? Just give me the month and day. Mm-hmm.
If he's still, I'm not, okay. He didn't respond. So I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, if he has a Vedic, if he has let's just say if anywhere between 0 and 25 degrees Libra, he's a Libra moon, right? And that in the Vedic, a Libra moon would, be
He's LOL, so we still didn't give it to you. Your month and day.
all right, yeah, because I felt like you felt like I forgot about you. I didn't forget about you. Because it sounds sometimes me and Dr. Naila, we can go off on our own thing, but 9 times out of 10, I didn't forget about it. So just
June
real quick.
18th.
Okay,
June
so that's well, happy solar return coming up very soon. So since I know that by the 23rd of June, we're usually looking at that as being Cancer. So that's only 5 degrees away from the 23rd. So you're about 25 degrees Gemini. So being about 25 degrees Gemini in the Vedic, that would probably put you at about 0 degrees Gemini, actually. I got a feeling you're a little older. No, I knew you. That's why I said I don't sell psychic energies. However, there are a ton of people that mentioned it. However, I paid attention to your energy. I knew you thought I forgot about you, but I'm not showing off right now. I'm being a brother and I'm being caring because I knew you felt that I neglected you. No, I'm not neglecting you. So let me just respond to that energy, and it's unplanned and it is going over time, but let me show you that I am my brother's keeper. Just don't take advantage of that, because I will also show you guys a way that, because I'll cut it off. But anyway, June 18th, right? About 25 degrees ish, Gemini. So communication is very important to you. Your brothers, I think, are important to you too, because if you would be a Vedic Gemini too, probably maybe 0 to 1 degree Gemini, or just at the edge, depending on what year you were born, just at the edge of Taurus, maybe at the end of Taurus, in the Vedic. But I think your brothers are important to you. Honestly, I don't know if you're male or female, Bantu Mandika. Because that name could be taken as androgynous in a sense, because I wouldn't know. 83. Okay, so you're about 30. You'll be 37 coming soon. Indeed. So yes, Islam to all the Moors too in the chat. I'm not ignoring you guys at all. But I'm very sensitive. And as Bantu said earlier, oh, all that water in your chart. As soon as you said that like that, I already know who you are in the chat. It's not that I'm not ignoring you. I know your energy, just by what you're saying. And it kind of also lets me know, what your chart is too. And I'm not surprised, with the June 18th, if that's your real time. Let me stop. Real month and day. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, Gemini, when it comes to Gemini, communication is real important to you. You like things simple. If you had a moon in Gemini, woo, goodness gracious, you really don't like emotions. You don't like messy emotions. If you were a moon in Gemini, however, looking at the male, okay, good, indeed, brother. So looking at 25 degrees, Gemini, that would put you at 9 from Libra is Gemini. So that would probably make you a Taurus Navamsha soul. So you're probably real touchy-feely when you talk to people. You're probably the guy that, even though when you communicate, you have to touch when you communicate. I don't know. Do you know sign language? Were you interested in Gallaudet or something like that? What is it about sign language that you like? I feel like when it comes to someone who has maybe a Taurus Navamsha, which is a ninth harmonic, because of the 25 degrees, because every air sign would start off with Libra. So the ninth sign from Libra would be Gemini. So at about 25 degrees, I would think between 23 degrees 20 minutes and 26 degrees 40 minutes in Gemini would put you at about the Navamsha, the ninth harmonic pertaining to Taurus. So usually when you're probably in finance, do you work for a bank? What is it with finance that you do to communicating Taurus in the soul? I feel like, I don't know, short order cook, something like that. Why are you laughing? Come on, man. Where is it at? Tell me what's up. 7:11 a.m. 7:11 a.m. born in June. So yeah, you could probably, that's evidence of a possible Gemini ascendant. Maybe even a Cancer ascendant. And I'm gonna probably go more maybe with a Cancer ascendant, maybe, just maybe. 7:11. Yeah, probably Gemini or Cancer ascendant. So you're probably, yeah, you're definitely sensitive. That's probably why when you even mentioned the whole thing, oh, you got all that water in your chart. That's why you probably a Cancer ascendant yourself, to be very honest, with the 7:11. And again, I'm not typing in anything. All right. Just going off of me knowing mathematics. All righty. Just proving I'm not using the telescope, like I said. Right. Have I used a telescope? So am I still being consistent with CM-based literature? All right. I'm not into sign language. Okay, cool. What is it that are you touchy-feely when you communicate? You know, yo, you feel like somebody not looking at you when they listening, you always kind of do the tap. Some people won't admit that if you do it, but if you're brave enough to admit it, that's cool. But if you don't do it, cool, you don't do it. But that will also make one, you know, somebody who, you know, I kind of think you're particular about what you like to eat too, because whatever you eat makes you feel a certain way. So I think somebody like you with a Gemini, 25 degrees Gemini, I got a feeling, you know, acting in comedy would probably be real important to you too. Got a real big feeling about that. Let me do this real quick. Look, let's go to the books real quick. Let's look up 25 degrees Gemini just to be sure, right? Because I know it's 25 degrees Sag. So look at 25 degrees Gemini real quick, right? Encyclopedia of Astrology by Nicholas DeVore, just so I can be sure. Because I know it's close to acting in comedy. 25 degrees is a degree of neurasthenia. Neurasthenia is when, you guys ever seen those videos of goats where the goats be running around, and they pop and tilt over?
Yeah.
That's neurasthenia, overexerting the nerves. So that's probably one thing when it comes to the ego and personality. There may be something, I don't know. Have you ever dealt with nerve issues? Maybe had back issues, restless leg syndrome a lot. Maybe you're, I don't know. I'm not going to say like, because the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio, and that does deal with like the throat organs and the sex organs too. But I don't think it was something more on the levels of that as much as it's something more on the levels of the valuable communication. Very intimate communication is like it's that. It's almost to the point where, Bantu, I feel like you have an energy with you that until you think people can really level with you, people are just full of shit. Pardon my expression. But I think you value language so important to that point that once you find sincerity in someone, then that's where you offer your loyalty. Cancer rising. Okay, cool. So he's right. That's cool, man. That's awesome. Alrighty, Islam. Cool, man. That's great. Yeah, so you're very sensitive. That's why even I kind of felt that. I mean, out of everybody that posted their stuff, I said, look, what's Bantu's? Because I felt you was like, no, please don't take this the wrong way. They done moved on to a whole nother topic. They get on my stuff. You don't did Sade and you did the other brother. And I'm not saying that's how you were, but I know how that feels because I'm a Cancer ascendant myself. So at the end of the day, I just put myself in your shoes. All right. Pardon me.
Okay, well, listen. As I was saying before, even though many of you did not have, get a chance to get your reading, you already have seen demonstration of what Brother Hassan can do. And I would humbly request that you will reach out to him, contact him, go back and look at this again if you need to catch some of the things he said in this. But here's his email address at Hasan Ghaziel Bey at gmail.com. You can also reach him at astrologystreet@gmail.com, myastrologystreet@gmail.com. And his Instagram is 7@7heelstar. So reach out to him. I put his number here. I'll do it again. Can you give it to me? Since we're at the end.
Okay, and I'll give you guys both the numbers, but I'm telling you, I'm not a screen. You know, I don't screen my calls, but it's like
So
just give me a
Google number is what?
All right, 443-376. Google Voice is 443-376-8764. Oh, the cat wants some attention. Come on, Nana. Come on up here, baby.
And or the other number you're giving that out to? Okay.
443-673-4510. And that's for the iPhone users. iPhone users is 443-673-4510.
Well, they don't know. Or I told them to put iPhone, they know. Maybe
people that's near Canaan land can use the Google Voice, because I can call you through Google Voice in Canaan land or whatever. But anything other than that, Zoom, I can give you guys my permanent Zoom number if I remember it properly. The permanent Zoom is 998-902.
Okay, 998.
902.
Yeah.
6250.
Okay, 6250.
That's what it will be. But I mean, I'm not always on Zoom where when you reach out or whatever. So you just got to let me know. But that would be the number, the permanent number, because that's what the Moors had put up for us to have. Already, they put up for us to have a permanent Zoom or whatever, just like the United Republic of Morocco. And again, shout out to brother Abdul El Talib Mosi Bey, brother Shem Malachi Bey, and of course, mother Tamara L. Thank you so much, y'all. Relax, baby. Sit down, Nana. All right, go ahead. I'm listening.
I had to lock my cat and dog out because they would be in here jingling and barking. But listen, I want to thank you all. I want to thank you for being on the show. I know this is not your last time. You'll be back, and I want to hear all of I want to hear the testimony from you about all of how you've been inundated with requests for readings and all the services that you perform. Thank you so much for tuning in as usual. We're going to go out with the actual what are we going to go out with? We're going to go out with the theme song that Brother Hassan and I collaborated on, and it's called Dr. G. It's called Dr. G. And we want you to we want to remember it, because it is what is it? It's good vibes. He used good vibes when he did, right? Good vibrations.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. This is what I prescribe to you. Good vibes. Okay. So we want to thank you, and we're going to let it play a little bit, and appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Here we go.
Islam, peace and love.
Peace and love. Thank you for tuning in to Office Hours with Dr. G. Dr. G. Really? Oh, shit. Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Really? Oh, shit. Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Really? Oh, shit. Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Really? Oh, shit. Yeah, that's me.
Dr. G. Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, that's me.
Dr. G. Really?